time is now.
The final show
in UFC talk.
Good evening, well, one and all. Welcome to the final show. This is the 7 till 8 o'clock special, if you like, for everybody, but it'll go out more to our members later on in the day. Me, myself, the Geordie Yam Yam, we've got Tim in the building, and of course, Boki, the mighty Yam Yam, will be with us around about 7:30. So watch this space. Welcome, one and all, to the show this evening. Like I say, just where we do an in-depth review on after the emotion has died down. I think that's probably the best thing to say. Once the emotions have gone, we can talk about the game as adults rather than young kids that have just had a couple of quid in the sweet shop. And we're all happy and jolly and obviously see the game slightly different to everybody else. Sorry, I'm just going to turn all of my other gubbins down in the background just so it's not interrupting the show. So anyway, let's get on with the housework and then we'll crack on with the show. So welcome to all watching across all of the platforms. Thanks to everybody again working tirelessly in the background. You all do fantastic work. Don't forget, people out there, it's amazing if you can continue to do so because it certainly helps us get it further as a channel to other supporters and other YouTubers. So smash that like button. Let's just get a little bit further afield because you're doing an amazing job as you do. Subscribe, it's totally free. Hit that bell for future content. You will get the half an hour warning, the 30 minutes warning when we go live. Like I say, we always live. We are never edited like other channels. If you want to support us, though, you can become a member. Remember, that is literally just one level to choose from, and that'll get you on board where you get behind-the-scenes content as well. If you've got a question during the show, if you could be so kind to put a Q in front of that question for it, and anybody in the panel, then obviously it's there. If you just make it different, it just helps us identify it within the chat, and then we'll try and put it on board if it obviously is of value. But if you want to guarantee it, then you can throw us a Talk TV super chat by using the $sign, follow the instructions, and that will guarantee that message read out. Anybody that becomes a member during the show or any of our lovely members that gift them will also be highlighted. And as of course, you have still got the opportunity if you so want to jump on board to the Prediction League. It's a £5 entry fee if you can. And if you're good enough, you can predict the Newcastle scores. You get points throughout the season for every game. And the people at the top of the table at the end of the season will get a prize, cash for 4 or 1 to 4. A prize of more than the value of your entry fee for 5 and 6. So everything to play for. Like I say, it is easier to say it than to actually do it. Gentlemen, how are we? Are we good? Oh, look at that straight away. Ian, thank you so much, sir, for coming a member. Very good of you, sir. And if you could, everybody on board, throw him a like, get him on board with a happy smile. And just obviously trying to get a few out there. Boki looks mad as hell. What's going on, Boki? Says Chris in the background. I can't hear you, mate. You're muted.
Muted, mate.
Some will say that's for better, but I mean, I won't.
I'm not mad. I'm quite happy.
I was going to say, you've got your special cardi on for Shirley, though, haven't you?
I have, yes. I always wear my cardi.
Look, see, Shirley will be so happy. In actual fact, I got in touch with Shirley today because she sent a video to the chat of her leaving the ground yesterday. And I must admit, St James's Park has always been a special ground for me. But watching that video yesterday, and I must admit, I was listening to what people were saying, and I've listened to a lot of other podcasts now during my working day, if you like. Got my headphones in, getting down to the nitty-gritty, and all of a sudden, you're listening to both home and away fans, different levels, some still not happy, some absolutely overjoyed, and I think that is the level, isn't it, where we are? You're never going to get everybody on that same platform. That's opinions for you, Some players, individuals, shine for, then people don't see it. Again, I've never really followed a player, even when the mighty Shearer was banging him in from everywhere. I've never ever been a type of supporter who idolises one fan or one player, I should say. I've always tried to be not critical, but always had try to be Mr. Mellow, if you like, and never praise them too high when they've had a good game, never slaughter them when they've had a bad game, because at the end of the day, we aren't robots. We are literally human beings. We never know what these guys are coming in from home, because, you know, we've all been there. If your day's not been a good day for whatever reason, it upsets your day, and there's ain't nothing you can do. Unfortunately, you can't switch off your brain. And like I say, these guys are the same. When they go and kick a ball around, that's their career. We think it's easy. It ain't, by any shadow of a doubt. They have to obviously pay the price for that high wage that they get. But, you know, at the end of the day, they're still humans, and they've still got to put to bed all of that, you know, misery that they feel. If there's been something happening in the family that they just, you know, need to just put aside, can affect the game. So I've always tried to be level-headed when it comes to player viewing and everything else. Some players, or some people, I should say, have obviously a different view on that, and they give some players a really high guard, regardless of how they perform. And some will just not even mention the really quality that we have in the side, without obviously having to bite their lip a little bit. So, interesting. I was just listening as I was sorting my many electrical issues that seem to be concurring from my outbreak yesterday of electricity, because the missus decided to flood the downstairs. So all day long, I have been having issues with the electric supply. So fingers crossed, everybody out there in Viewland, I don't disappear off the screen again. So if it happens, you know the reasons why. I have still got some water within the electrics. Let's just put it that way. So let's go to you, Tim. And again, like I say, we've had these 24 hours, if you like, now, just to calm down. If you have had the chance to watch it again, I know you wasn't at the game yesterday, I believe. You saw it on TV?
Yeah, I saw it on TV. I've tried to watch it back since, but it wasn't available on the website. When you click on the link, it brings up the Fulham game for some reason.
Fulham game, yeah, I know.
But I've watched the highlights back and stuff. But I would have liked to have seen the full game. But obviously, yeah, I saw it at the time on TV. And it's funny you say there, Gary, about the kind of expectation about the atmosphere and stuff, and sort of people's reaction to the game. And obviously, I wasn't there, so I'm saying this from looking at the TV, but it did sound a little bit flat, the atmosphere. And
At times, didn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, and that's not something I would ever like. Obviously, I think we should always be trying to get it raucous in the ground as much as possible. But I think maybe as well, it kind of, you know, on one level speaks to the sort of maturity and the expectation that we have now, where we're going into a cup tie like this against, you know, a good Spurs team, with a place in the quarterfinals at stake. And I think it's kind of like not everyone, but a lot of people are kind of like, okay, we kind of should win this, and expecting to win, and it shows in a way how far we've came as a club.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like I said, you know, I think we often forget that, you know, when you're there, and I've been the same. Certain parts of the ground aren't always screaming, aren't always shouting, aren't always behind the team, regardless of how they play. They're just watching the game, you know. And I'll hold my hand up. I'm one of them that is not always shouting, always screaming, and always singing along. I'll do little bits, but I don't always. You know, I am just solely focused on the game itself. And does that make me a lesser fan then because I don't sing?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think it's a happy balance, isn't it? Have you got an echo, by the way? I've got an echo.
I can't hear one. Have you
I've got a
guys got an
slight
echo?
echo when you're speaking, Tim.
Okay, I haven't got one at all. So no, you're all right. You're all right.
Right. Yeah. So I think there's a broader subject in regards to the atmosphere and in regards to kind of safe standing. Ideally, would have that safe standing going across the Gallagher end, and that would be more conducive to more fans who want to be more involved in the atmosphere to sit with like-minded fans. So you've got more of a balance in the ground. So I think that's going forward something that should be looked at. But I just think you kind of take a step back and you realise how far we've come, where we, like I say, expect to be winning these games at home, even though we make a lot of changes. I mean, a lot of things looking back at the game, some of which I've mentioned already last night, but I think speaking about Elanga, actually, I'll just mention him because you're talking, Gary, about what players are going through and stuff, and you never quite know, do you? And I think with Elanga, it is an interesting one because I look at him and I do think he's trying everything, and it's not coming off. But I think he is one player who just needs that support because I think he is pushing things, or like I said last night, he's overthinking things, and I think he wants it so badly, and he clearly works his arse off behind the scenes, but it's not happening for him. And deep down, he might be feeling a little bit gutted at how he hasn't hit the ground running after coming from Forest, and he's somebody who needs to support when he's in the pitch. Because I appreciate he's very frustrated at the moment, but I think if we can get behind him, I'd like to think come the end of the season, he might have turned things around a bit where he's bedded into the side more, or in Eddie Howe's way of playing more, and his qualities can be transferred across in our style of play with rotation with Murphy. But yeah, because he had a mixed night, didn't he? I mean, a lot of things didn't come off. He did do some good things, but he's definitely still a work in progress.
Yeah, that's an interesting view. Boki, what's your thoughts on that, mate? Because, I always see Elanga as being, like I say, he reminds me so much of Osula in some aspects. Where you can see a young lad, a young, ambitious lad running, but he always looks awkward. When he's got ball, he always feels as though his legs are running twice as quick as they need to be, without really gathering control of the ball, surroundings, etc. And I tend to agree with Tim there, where, like I say, for me, he's probably got everything mentally before the game prepped up. And when he gets on the field of play, he's running at 150 mile an hour rather than, just trying to play within what's best for the team, if you like.
It was hard last night because I watched it on telly, not live at the game, so I couldn't watch the lad himself all the time. But he just seems to be quite low on confidence, and he seems to be trying too hard. If anything, he's not playing his normal game. I think he just needs a little bit of time to settle in. Probably the best bet is to take him out for a little bit, play Murphy, and just introduce him towards when we're winning games and things, so there's not as much pressure on him.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just got a couple of shout-outs before I move out onto another thing. According to it, Jessica, thank you. I have, there you go. Let's just put that one up. I have a good idea. Newcastle United fans are not allowed to go to the training ground. We need more events and maybe meet and greet with our players. Oh, that's an interesting one, Jess. Kenny W said you can watch the whole game on ITV if you want to, Tim. There you go. And we've got Harry, who's been a member of 15 months. Thank you, matey. Love you guys. You keep me alive. Never stop. Thanks, buddy.
I think that's right about the training ground, Gary. I've heard that the day as well. The reason is what they're saying is it's quite a tight road as you come into the training ground.
Yeah.
And it's not safe for they're worried about the safety of the fans.
Yeah, so because it's the fans. Fans and players, mate, to be fair, because we've seen in the past, where you've got fans running after cars, either to get an autograph or to put the window in, one of the two. And it has to be a safety measure. And I've said all along, when I've been up to Benton, you walk down that little lane and you're like, wow, it is tight. And the players do come down there with a little bit of pace at times, just to get away. Big up to the 3,000 fans that travelled up from London last night to watch their side lose.
Can I just look at the crowd issue that was brought up, guys? Sorry, I didn't
No. It's all part of this, mate.
No, you're completely right that it wasn't the same atmosphere that you normally have. But I think what we need to look back to as well is in the bad old days. For example, I've watched the highlights of a game back in 2008 in the I keep calling it the Cup, the Carabao Cup, where we were playing Tottenham, and I think we had less than 30,000 fans in the ground. So it swings and roundabouts. Yes, the fans that are there probably aren't as used to being at the games, and it's probably harder for them to get the atmosphere going. But we are now getting those fans in.
Yeah, this is from Shirley, bless her, your favourite fan, Boki. And bless her, she took a video post match yesterday. I hope you guys can hear this because, like I say, sometimes it doesn't come across very well to you guys. So let me know if you can hear this. I mean, I look at that, right, and I'm thinking to myself, it is amazing atmosphere there at St James's Park. That was post-match. All the guys and girls coming out of the ground, all singing Tonali songs, and obviously going to Wembley. LFC 43 is in the chat there saying rumours Slot may be sacked regardless of the Villa result. Like I say, we're not an LFC group, but again, I said all along it's going to take a lot to take Klopp's throne, and like I say, he hasn't really hit the ground running at LFC. He was lucky last year, I suppose, because he'd got a lot of the players already in the side, but struggling this season.
I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry, Gary. I wouldn't be surprised if Klopp goes back in there because he said to me a few weeks ago, if there was one club you go back in the Premier League for, it's Liverpool. And to me, it sounded a bit strange for him to come out and say that. Like, why would you?
Has he been tapped?
Those words. Maybe they put the feelers out, and I just don't think he'd be able to resist. Really, I might be wrong.
No, absolutely. But anyway, going back to where we were, it is an absolute interesting setup that we have now, because like I say, when you look at the atmosphere coming out of the ground, everybody's jovial, everybody's really hitting the high notes, and everybody wants to go to Wembley. And for me, it's certainly something that I look at and think there's every opportunity now. There's no reasons why we can't get back to Wembley. And there's only a few teams in recent history that I'm aware of: Liverpool, Man City, and who was it? Is it Arsenal that have gone back-to-back League Cup winners? I might be wrong with there might be another one. I think I can't think of it at the top of my head.
Did Chelsea do it?
May have. It could be Chelsea. I'm sure there was four teams. So I'm sure somebody in the chat will let me go. Paul Morris in the chat there saying, love that video, Shelley, the real Toon Army. Absolutely, mate. And that's what I love. We are, like I say, in the ground, people criticise there was no atmosphere, bless him, Chris in America obviously listens to all the games and watches all the games with us. And the atmosphere doesn't always come through on the headphones. I mean, I'm the same because you're listening to commentary a lot of the time. And what they do, like all grounds, is they have that audio system that nullifies the crowd. So you never get that feeling of a raucous crowd. unless you're actually at the ground. Go on,
I
mate.
think the only time that you really hear it is when we have big European nights, and they can't mute it out as much. And it did that. I think that's when you hear the massive amount of sound in the background. And
Yeah,
can I just
the full ruckus.
another quick point on regards to all the fans being happy that left the ground last night? I think that was right, apart from one. I don't know what was up with him. But he came on and he wasn't. He seemed a very unhappy fan.
Well, he'll be with us in a minute.
Yeah, I'll pick it up with him. But
I'm sure he'll
Roles
have an
reversed.
idea.
You and win, Borgie.
I know, complete role reversal.
I mean, there's been some absolutely interesting comments, if you like, and I will once I can get rid of some of the adverts on here. I will try and bring this one up because this was an interesting one from Alan Pardew. I don't know. Again, apologies if you guys have seen some of this, because, like I say, there's a hell of a lot out there. And Alan Pardew seems to think that Voltemade is very close to being a 20-plus goal a season man. Here we go.
Premier League table, joint top scorers with 17 goals this season, unbeaten away from home until last night, but beaten by Newcastle United last night, Alan. And it was an interesting take from Thomas Frank. Was he right to direct his ire over the concession of the first goal towards the referee for not allowing his player to tie his shoelaces? This is what he had to say.
We conceded 2 goals because of 2 mistakes, in my opinion. Unfortunately, the ref was part of the mistake in the first one. I'm not saying there's things we can't do better, but his boots is off. We need to tie his shoelace, tie his boot. And you can clearly see on the footage afterwards that the whole boot is off, so you need to do it. And it's minute 23. It's not like we had delayed the game for 10 minutes and we are 1-0 up. It's common sense to allow him time to get in. So as soon as he had the boot on, the ref let it go. And then to make it perfect, Jet's man he had to mark was Shah that scored. So that's why we were very animated. I think that was the biggest one. I think the rest was fine. There's always small bits you can be irritated about, but it's very difficult to ref a game. But this, for me, was a unfortunate big mistake.
Well, Danso and Kinski got themselves into a bit of a miscommunication moment.
You was at the game, right?
I was, and that's why they conceded the corner kick in the first place. Jed Spence had lost the boot, and he went to put it back on again. He wasn't ready. He was still doing his shoelaces up. But I watched it back this morning to see how long he had to put his boot back on and tie his laces. And it was between 45 seconds and 50
Did you ever stop watching on your phone going? You did?
Yeah, I did.
I know, you're a bit sad like that.
Is that long enough?
I would have thought so. I mean, we're talking about England's fullback here. When I looked at that fixture, emotionally, obviously, I know Newcastle fans. I know the stadium very, very well. They're the holders of the competition, right? I knew that was going to be a tough call there going there. I fancied Newcastle to win that. And it didn't disappoint me. I mean, in terms of putting your shoe back on, getting it done, I've looked at the footage of it. Come on, son. He's pulling out his laces and, making it all big and, just get on with it.
It didn't really look as if he was showing much urgency to get it sorted out. And I think that was part of the referee's problem. In the end, he was just like, okay, wave it on. Richarlison and Porro are still sort of arguing about it. But instead of adapting to that situation, they almost sort of neglected the player in the middle of the box. Is that right?
Well, one of the problems you have with footballers sometimes is, particularly if you're the coach or the manager, is when you give them set assignments, particularly set plays, when they have to start thinking for themselves, it becomes a bit of an issue. So you sometimes, when you do those set plays, there is now again in that particular coaching session, you might say, well, look, let's take somebody out. Now what are you going to do? Because now you haven't got a marker. So how are you going to adjust and let them get on with it? That's a kind of coaching trick to come over that kind of issue. That obviously didn't take place because he was unmarked or his Spence's man scored apparently. So that happens, and unfortunately, you got to take it on the chin, and then go in the press room after and moan about the referee.
I'm going to stop it there. And the reason I'm going to stop it there is because we've got. I wanted to come to that. Now we have Chris, bless him, has done a few highlights of the game, and I wanted to wait for the mighty to come back from his outing to join us while we do the highlights, just so we can discuss it as a whole. But the point about Spence doing his boot on the side, and I don't know whether you guys have rewatched it. I've just seen Harry there with a. I'm just going to put that on. Really like Thomas Frank, but let himself down. Thanks, Harry. I mean, to be fair, I've played football at quite a few levels, and whenever you're in a situation as he was with a player out of position, and it doesn't matter what you do on a training ground, somebody's going to make a mistake. Now, at the time, Newcastle looked like they were going to play a short one. Tonali at the corner, and I can't remember. I think it was Elanga that stayed out. Looked like he was going to do the short. So they automatically throw two players out there. This is why, or while he's messing about with his boot. So whoever has the opportunity at that point has to make a decision. And again, this is where I look at the coach to trigger the captain and say, get cover. Now, doesn't matter how many times you ask a player to mark another player of the opposition, that goes out the window in that scenario. What you need is the right amount of bodies in the right areas to defend. So for me, it was absolutely Sunday League, and I'm going to mention Sunday League because sometimes I watch some of these so-called professionals and say that was a mistake that you often see at that level, Sunday League level. When you've got two players doing absolutely diddly squat out of position, if you like, looking at the short, and then all of a sudden, the player that's supposed to be marking Fabian Schär is down on his knees, putting his boot on. Why not just get covered in? Why not say, well, you stay out the short, I know your role, I'm going to come back and pick up Schär. That is just, half a dozen words directed from the coach to the captain to the player. Get him back inside. I would absolutely, and again, I've heard there was quite a bit of ructions in the tunnel at full time from a lot of the Tottenham players towards the officials. There was one or two harsh words that come across. But for me, it's all about the timing. And like I say, we'll go through that. So, what's your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think for me, you would if you are Tottenham, if you've got a player to find his foot lace like that, cause something to delay the corner. So have a player run across towards the corner flag or something to say, pretend that the ball's outside the area for to take the corner and be pointing at that or something just while the lad gets himself ready. So as you say, it's about professionalism and playing the game basically. Basically, all they did was let the referee stood there for a while. Then must have just thought, "There's no chance I'm waiting around all day for this," and just let them take the corner. So I think Tottenham only had themselves to blame for that one.
But it's like what's been said as well. I think, like with Spence, he was hardly showing urgency, was he? It was like he's having a kind of kick around in the park with his mates. Like even once he put his boot on, the way he jogged back was so lackadaisical. Like, mate, you're in a professional game, in the cup game that's for the quarterfinals. Like, why not just sprint back? And I think that was kind of symptomatic of a lot of attitude from a lot of modern day players. And that might sound a bit harsh, but where players these days, they kind of want it all to be pampered, and they don't want to just show that urgency. Yeah.
Thanks, Harry.
There's Warren. Hello, folks. Good evening.
Hello, you. It's nice to see you, Hal.
Just Warren there, because listen, whatever YouTube are doing with these names is completely out of our control. And we know it's you, Warren.
Yeah, but I just say it's Harry because that's what it says on there. You know, I can't do anything
obviously.
because
I know.
it confuses the other watchers. Harry, Warren, whatever. Listen, if he can call me Barry, I can call you Harry. Oh, bless you. Sorry,
how's the guys? How we doing, Tim? How we doing, Borky? How we doing, Gary?
Oh, fabulous. Fantabulous, matey. And how are we? Are we good?
I haven't. The signal. I got in the taxi and then the signal cut off as I was on my way here, so I haven't heard all of what you were saying. But let's get started. Let's get this party started.
Indeed. We were just watching. Obviously, there's still a lot of debate, Win, about the first goal, the controversy, if you like. Yeah, we spent doing his boot up, and I said, like, you know, for me, it's Sunday League. If I'm honest with you,
okay.
I've
the thing about that is, at the time, the corner was actually when that ball was kicked at the corner. Spence wasn't tiny. He was at the time the ball was kicked. He was, and obviously the run up to kick the ball. He was still. He wasn't tiny. He was walking back. I think he just passed the 18-yard line as the ball was taken, and Tottenham are arguing that that Shea was his man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And this is the same Tottenham who publicly do zonal marking. You know, so to say it was his man, I think is nonsense. And as I say, you know, you shouldn't have spent as long. Have you seen the funny thing where Spurs have now gone to Velcro ties for them?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I saw that. They've got the Velcro boots. They're all delighted. Hey, listen, a lot of players now play with those slip-ons for that reason, for that very reason. I don't know whether that gives them any better feel of the ball, to be fair, because they are like slippers. But like I said, you know, for me, it's still schoolboy stuff, mate. You know, when you look at the two players out there looking for the short, that could have quite easily come back into the box and picked up a man. It doesn't have to be Shaw if he didn't feel, you know, he was able to compete in the air. I just think that is the biggest excuse in the world. And like I said, doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I would be absolutely furious. Not at the referee. The referee have every right to make. And I mean, I made the comment yesterday about, you know, I remember when Fabian Shaw got took out by West Ham with head injury, if you remember, and he was laying on the ground at the time, and they went on and scored. And that was, you know, direct. The referee didn't see it as an edge injury at the time. Even though he wasn't even involved in the game. At least, you know, this was a corner. It was a dead ball. If he decides to go and put his shoe on where he did, it'd have been better running into the box, into the melee, and then going down to his knees and putting his shoe on. Because at least then the referee...
Exactly. He should have held his boot up to the ref and said, I need to put this on, walk to the box, and then started doing it. And it's just totally like a days ago. Thought I'd be like, oh, it's my way.
It was poor. It was poor. But, you know, that wasn't the reason we beat Spurs.
No, not at all. I'm going to show you the highlights in a minute.
We could have had 2 or 3 before that one. And for them to use that as an excuse, it's just Spurs being Spursy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Spurs coming to St. James's Park and facing the wonderful skills of Voltemade.
Well, I mean, he was class yesterday again, wasn't he?
This summer, lads.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got him in my background there, and he is the guy that's ripping the trees up.
Do you put him in front of Dan Burn now, then, Mighty?
Oh, steady.
Can I pick the point up about Dan Burn last night?
What's that then?
I don't want to come on and just criticise players and things like that. Dan Burn last night put 2 of the best crosses in of the game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Everyone would agree with that.
You were watching. I did see that on the reaction. I said, I hope Bogey's watching this.
However, if we go off those arrow things that we had on the screen the other night, both those crosses would go down as him losing the ball.
Yeah, but but this is what I said. You can't always go
Off the stats.
Well, it's not off the stats, Boki. You've got to
Or-
look at where the ball is being aimed to, right? So if you look at the Botman and the Miley mistakes, where they play in cross the box balls, their own third, yeah, so the defensive third, and they lose the ball in those situations, that's their responsibility, yeah. If you go on the other side where you're putting a ball into an area in the final third, then you've done your best, if you like.
But
You've
I'm
done
just
your
saying-
job. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with what you said.
The other night, I picked up on the fact that Dan Bernard lost the ball 12 times.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah,
look,
I totally agree.
if you look at those sort of situations, he's done the right thing, got the ball in. We didn't have a striker in there to get to it, basically. But as I say, if we go off those sort of things, it looks like Dan Burns lost the ball an extra 2 times.
Yeah.
This is by the way, where I think, myself included, in terms of criticism for him, Elanga is getting, pretty bad press at the minute for what he's done since he came to the Toon. I think we will see a different Elanga when we've got a proper striker in the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
In other words, when Wissa when we get Wissa, honest, I think we're going to fly. I'm like Gary the Hat in this regard. That I think we're going to fly when Wissa comes. As long as we keep everybody reasonably fit.
I think
Elanga will then come good. I think even Barnes will improve when he's called upon, because he'll not necessarily have to take all of the responsibility of taking the shots on. He'll be able to find somebody who's made that run instinctively, and that's something you can't teach, and you don't get the number of Premier League goals that Wissa's got without having that striker's instinct. Voltemade, I don't think, has got that striker's instinct. I think he's much more of a 10 or an 8, whatever you care to call it these days. And as we talked about the other night, I think 3-4-2-1, but for us, could just be transformative.
Sheila, bless her, putting in the £2. Thanks, Sheila. Soz, quality of the video, not best. I'll do better. No, that's superb, sweetheart.
Have you shown the video, have you?
I've shown the video of what Sheila put in. Yeah, it's superb.
I mean, it's the hordes.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Funny enough, I was saying, coming out, because I come out the other side of that, obviously, and I said I was quite disappointed that we hadn't heard "Tell Me More" with any conviction tonight. But the video that Sheila put in the group, which you've obviously shown tonight, showed that when coming down the tunnel, it did eventually. I mean, obviously after the Tonali, because what a performance by Tonali last night. That to me,
absolutely.
As I said in the instant reaction last night when I got in, that is the best individual performance in a black and white shirt I have ever seen.
Did you not also say that?
He was everywhere.
Did you not also say that Tonali should be on the bench?
Well, obviously he's got to be on the bench if we've got Sean Longstaff available. I mean, that goes without saying.
Sean Longstaff? No, not last
Yeah.
I'm not going back that far. I'm going back to last night.
I'm going back to last season.
I'm saying you said that Tonali should be on the bench.
Yeah, well, I would have had him on the bench. Yeah, I thought we could have rested him last night, but he rested Bruno instead. So what I'm saying is you cannot rest them all at the same time.
He did last night. He rested 8 players.
Yeah, but he kept Tonali. He didn't rest Bruno and Tonali and J7.
No, but he rested 2 out of 3, which is great. I'm not saying what he did wasn't brilliant. What I'm saying is you actually picked up on the video on your way into the ground that you thought he was rotating too much, What I'm saying is, I think
Absolutely,
I think Eddie did a great job last night in rotating that much. I think that's
steady,
exactly
clip,
what he
clip,
needs to
clip.
start doing moving forward.
Yeah.
I think-
Listen, everything about last night was good.
Let's put this one up
no doubt about it.
of Warren. When shut up, because you know what lap knee wingers.
Well, that's it. Well, if he's referring to the fact that obviously if you bring Wissa in my opinion, you have to drop a winger, so you'll be playing with one winger instead of two wingers. We've heard the options of the 3-4-2-1 with Livramento and Hall being the outsiders of the four. So they've got defensive capabilities with Bruno and Tonali in the middle. Behind, one of the wingers, Voltemore's got to be there. But that only still leaves room for one of the wingers as one of the two behind Wissa.
Mm.
Can I ask you about that idea? How do you play with just one winger? I mean, what wing do you play them on, and how do you then get the cover back for
Tottenham did last night.
the other positions? Exactly, and they lost.
I think what I would say to that is you can kind of maybe give a player a bit of freedom, couldn't you? In that, I remember going back a long time where we had Shearer and Ferguson, and we played Kieran Dyer or Kevin Gallagher behind those two, and certainly Dyer would drift, and he would go left and he would go right.
Yeah, but you're talking about 3-4-1-2 there.
Different formation, but I'm just talking about the principle of having a player who kind of.
But if you want to play Wissa and Voltemade in the same side, which I do, somebody has to go, and I am really worried about playing just two in midfield, because the engine room midfield for me is where the games are won and lost. And as we discussed last night, the way you counteract that apparently is by playing your two wing backs as the outsiders of the four.
So, and you would lose potential wouldn't you? Because you haven't got the wingers and the fullbacks together and overlapping. So, like you say, if you've got, let's say, Harvey Barnes with Voltemade behind Wissa, then it's up to Harvey Barnes to drift left. So he's overlapping with Lewis Hall, for example.
And you've still got Hall and Livramento bombing up the wings. I am not saying that won't work.
But I'm saying, does that not make your team very lopsided? You're going to be very lopsided to either one wing or the other wing.
Well, it depends. That second man, Voltemade, is basically going to kind of stay in the middle.
Yeah.
And whoever's playing alongside him is going to have the freedom to go to either side. And as I was saying before, I think that is where Elanga could maybe come into his own with his ability to play both sides and play through the middle as well. But the key with Voltemade is we have to have players running in front of him. He's so clever, so skillful. We've got to get players in front of him so that he's not necessarily the number 9. Even though we love him scoring the goals, his preeminent quality for me is his ability to receive the ball whilst surrounded, if you like, and still be able to get a ball to somebody who, witnessed last night with Harvey Barnes, the first sitter that he missed. I'm saying sitter, okay, maybe I'm being harsh.
I'm just going to put a couple up. Win, can you honestly remember last night? Amazing.
Yeah, I can remember. Well, I was sober as a judge last night.
And Queenie's put in here,
confess.
I want to congratulate Spurs on a fab gym team.
Yeah.
Love it. So let's listen. While we're talking tactics and everything else, let's start with this one then, because this is some highlights that Chris, bless him, has done today for us. So again, we can have a look at these because Chris has used his magic. For me, one of our standout players was Malik Chow. not only playing that transitional role, playing left centre back, it was some of his progressive balls out of that back line, missing out and completely missing out because again we had a bit of a different midfield look last night, so it was missing out the midfield because we'd got Willock playing more of a free role last night. They wanted to hit the higher end of the field. I'm not going to say the attacking end, but higher end up the field before they progress the ball forward. And for me, looking at him, and listen, I think there's an element of what Wynne was saying previously about Botman going square a lot of times. So when you look at these two yesterday, and you had Fabian Shaw, who's always looking up, always looking for that long diagonal over the top, not so much like Porro tries to do with the Spuds, because Porro goes direct through the middle looking for their pace down the middle to go direct at goal. Fabian Shaw's more the diagonal across looking for Gordon's pace down the left. But what I liked about the two of them yesterday was the fact that they could progress the ball from back to front really quickly, breaking those lines. It was a direct ball into feet along the ground. And I think that we've still got the best to come from these two. So let's have a quick look. And what we're going to do with this, we're going to have a look at the video. Obviously, like I say, Chris has edited to a degree. And then we're going to break down some of the play in and around it. What was good, what was bad, what could have done better type of thing. So here we go. So you're highlighting Malik Chow, as you can see, direct ball through the middle, and again, look at this touch from Byrne. He's got his criticisms for me, but that's what these are the little points that I sometimes think you don't always see. And like I say, you can see himself. He's run off his marker, which is Porro, and I ain't being funny. Porro's a decent fullback. He causes a lot of problems. You can see their two deep midfielders across the flat four, which is always dangerous. And again, you've got runners in behind. Just what Wynne was saying there. You've got Voltemade that's dropped on. So instead of Danso there looking to go deep and follow him, what he's asked there is Papasar to drop in and just pick his man. What he hasn't done there is literally followed the run. And like I said, if you look at this now, this one touch virtually takes out 2 or 3 players, and that's superb from Dan Byrne. It's just a shame, like I say, with the speed of Porro. If that was anybody else apart from Porro, that would have been a strike at goal direct. But again, what Porro's done, instead of following his man, which obviously was Dan Byrne, he's followed where the danger was at. Just wanted to get your opinions on what you've just seen. So there's 3 things to look at, and let me just do Warren speaking to coming into their own borough are doing okay. Yeah.
Yeah. My target's doing really well for them.
Well, he's playing at the level now that I think he was at for a long time, mate. I think we've probably paid a little bit over the odds for Matt Target. But again, he did a job for us.
15 million.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you're not looking at the wages either. For a player who doesn't play, it's a lot of wages, bud.
I think he's found his level as well, hasn't he? He's either the top of the Championship or bottom of the Premier League type of player.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I'm not dissing the lad. I'm not dissing the lad. I'm just saying, he's found his level of play.
He was in luck with injuries, wasn't he? I think he was really good.
That was the thing. When he was really coming good, he got crocked at the wrong time. And then, of course, Lewis Hall came in and Dan Byrne did so well. And
I'll just say, Wynne, on the point that we've seen here with the video, that was something I wanted to mention, that touch, because when I watched the highlights back, and I seen that touch again from Dan Byrne, it kind of goes back what I was saying last night, in that he is underrated that way, and he's 6'7", and you think, okay, he's a stopgap, but he is really good on the ball for somebody of that height, and yes, he will give it away sometimes.
He's like Nick, isn't he?
Oh, hold on! I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that.
Stick him up front. But he's deceptively good on the ball, and that touch there, like you've said, Gary, he's took everyone out of the game. He's created a chance there with that touch. So it's absolutely superb.
I mean, it was a great ball through by Chow in the first place, by the way.
Yeah.
But that and again, you know, when I came on instantly last night, and people were saying that they thought Ramsey and Willock had done really well, and I you know, I think Willock could have shot first time there.
Can I ask a quick question on Dan Burn?
Hold on. Willock.
Why is he there?
Willock. Where's Willock?
You mean Ramsey win?
Sorry, you mean
Ramsey
yeah?
win.
You can bloody confuse me there. I don't know what I'm thinking. Where's Willock? Right, Ramsey. Yeah. Well, I think what Ramsey. I didn't think Ramsey did anything wrong. If I'm honest with you, I just think it was superb play from Porro. And sometimes, you know, I think we.
Yeah, well,
as
defenders
fans,
are in the game as well, of course.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we as fans discredit our players for not taking the shot off, but never give credit to the defenders who've done extremely well to actually block that, because he could have easily gone to ground when he feigned to try and do a shot and then took that extra touch. It's so easy for players of any stature to go to ground to block in, but he didn't. He stood his own and followed the play, and that's what I said. He left what was, you know, if you go back to Thomas Frank's argument, you know, everybody's got a player and they should be marking them. Well, Porro's player was behind him. He's followed the danger man. And I think if it wasn't Porro and it was anybody else, that shot would have got off. And whether Kinski, bless him, would have saved it, that's something else to
Can we go back to the start, the setup of this? The very
first 2 seconds. Let me just do this one. That went straight over your heads, totally. Ha, ha, ha.
What was
Thanks.
that one?
Thanks,
Can we go back to the start?
Coming into their own, but I don't know here.
Go on, Boker.
Can we go back? Can we get back to the start of this video?
You want me to show it? You want me to show it?
Just from the start.
Of course, mate. So here we are.
Chow's bringing it out of defence there. Why is Dan Burn in the position that he's in?
Well, here.
Because he's left wing
when
back.
he comes across here, why does he hit it?
Yeah, you know when we was talking, but you know when we were talking, and I said to you, the left side and the right hand side, whoever's playing fullback, left back, has Eddie Howe wants them to play inverted left side, right? So if you imagine, you can't really see him. This is Harvey Barnes down here, right? So he is your inside left channel, which Tino runs, which Lewis Hall runs, because it's all about overloading. If you ever look now at what you've actually got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players against 4. If that ball can be progressed across, 6 players in the middle of the park. So they're breaking the lines. And I think this is where we have become a little bit unstuck, because if against Brighton, in a very similar situation to what you've got here on the screen, right? We, as a blocked 4 or 5, were somewhere about here or here.
So can we play on
this
the
line?
Frame, just so I can get my head around this, because I'm just trying to...
Can you see Harvey Barnes in the bottom left?
Yeah, I can see. So Harvey Barnes is on the left wing, hugging the left wing. Why is Dan Burn in that position?
Because that's the system that Eddie Howe plays.
It's a tactical setup, isn't it?
He's not the fastest. And the problem is then, if he's there, if we lose the ball, so if the defender gets it, he's not going to get back in time.
Well, exactly. But what you don't see here is you saw where Malik Chow is. He's left of the centre circle, He's just played the ball through the lines. So what happens to Newcastle, and this is what I said, what we don't ever really see is the back line shift across 5 or 10 yards to cover the left back getting into the inside left position. So what Eddie has is he has this like pendulum, if you like, of getting the right hand side tucked in, and that's why the right back always comes into the right 6, if you like, on that right hand side. So Trippier, it'd be Kraft. Sorry, not Trippier last night. So you can see Kraft just on the 6 there. He's Tonali. There's Kraft. So there's your 2 6s. And that is how you play.
Kraft was playing right back.
Yeah.
Shaw's there. So Shaw's the other one. You've got.
That's not Shaw. That's Tonali.
Right, you've got Tonali, but so Shaw's obviously a little bit further back.
Just further back on the halfway line.
you've
Yeah,
got Chelsea
alongside.
further back.
Yeah.
Why is one? And don't get us wrong, it's a brilliant ball that he plays, but that
Yeah.
position for me, for somebody of his age who we're having to get other players to help cover at left back for, he shouldn't be in that position. He should be like Kraft is. He should be on the other side behind Barnes.
But
So you're
what
saying
I'm
Barnes
saying,
should be where Burn is?
No, I'm saying, but Barnes should be going forward, and there should be a midfielder there. That should. It just does not make sense in regards to having your left back who's, as I say, he plays a brilliant ball, so that masks the fact. But if we lose the ball in that position, Barnes is behind Burn. Burn's not going to get back there. Barnes isn't going to get back. If they attack down that left hand side, our left hand side, we're struggling then.
but
Would you be saying the same thing, Borky, if where Dan Burn is now, if that was either Hall or Livermento, if they were, designated left back of the day, would you be saying the same if it was them?
Yeah, because from that position,
well, in that case, you don't understand the way Eddie plays.
No, but from that position where Chow plays that ball forward, it doesn't make any sense to have your left back in that position.
But that's what I said. That's the tactic that Eddie Howe plays.
Because it made sense because we created a chance. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it's called overlap.
You're always going to have that argument, but it doesn't make sense in that we've got a slow left back who is now technically the furthest player forward on the pitch.
Yeah. I don't understand your point, because you've got cover. You've still got three players in the back line up against one player.
But he's not, because you've got Barnes is heading forward. If you can see him heading
10
forward.
yellow shirt, 9 yellow shirts and the goalie there.
If you look where the referee is, you've got this, and then move that arrow across towards the left.
To my left or your left?
Yeah, to my left. Yeah, so that way. This lad here is, if they headed out to that side, he is completely free down the left-hand side.
But this is the gamble. This is what I said about percentage work, right? What you have to do when you're progressing the ball forward and breaking lines, you have to be 90+% sure that, one, you have the ability, and this is when you go back to Dan Burns' interview, right? When he's turned around and said, I always pass it to a player that can, rather than try it myself, because the chances of me doing what Chow has just done there isn't 90%, right? Because you're absolutely right. If this ball breaks down, what you have then is an overload from Tottenham. So it's all about giving the players that have that ability to do the job that is expected by the coach. And I think, if I'm absolutely honest with you, I think what you see here is exactly where you are with everybody that plays left back. We mentioned it previously about the left back has a system of play. He plays on the inside of the left winger, so the inside left position. Tino does it. Lewis Hall does it.
Unless the winger moves inside, in which case they
go on the outside.
Outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only change. If Harvey Barnes had played there, then Dan Burn would have been out here. So it's all about progression up the field.
So just for, we've spent a long time on this player, but just let's assume that Harvey Barnes, because of the way the game had gone up to that very point, had been where Dan Burn is, and Dan Burn had been on the left-hand side, would you still be saying the same thing?
Well, I would if Dan Burn was heading forward like Barnes is. If Dan Burn was further back, I would have no issue with this. I understand what he's saying with Hall and things. However, we've got to take into account what player we're playing. And
I don't think Hall's any quicker than Dan Burn.
But we're having to use other players to cover at left back, and Dan Burn's the furthest player up the pitch.
Yeah, but that's the plan. The plan is.
Well, all I'm saying is the plan's wrong.
Oh, right. Well, there you go.
But that's an observation, and that's what I said. It's all about if it goes wrong, as in the play. So it's about percentages, and I keep the word percentages is often very rarely used
Small margin.
when you're watching football, because it is about having the ability to do the job, and that's what I said. Putting Dan Burn in that situation, and I know you might look at it on the negative side, Andy, but you've also got to look at it from a positive side, and the positive side when you're the opposition coach is who marks who. So when you've got two lines, they had a bank of 4 against our 6. So if we get a touch of that ball, as we did in this progression, then we're on the offensive, right? Because we've broke that first line of defence. And that's why Newcastle adopt this 4-5 scenario when we're playing in the defensive in our final third. Because if we can break or stop that passing lane to break our front guard, if you like Brighton did and got the result. If you remember, they broke through our midfield with good passing lines, because for some unknown reason that day we just didn't do enough movement across that middle section. Anyway, let's carry on to the next one, because we could be here talking about exactly the same thing for the next hour. But it's an observation. That's what I said, and this is why I love football, because everything is viewed differently. And when you're like we're all around the table in the pub having a discussion, everybody's viewpoint is valid, and it's about understanding what the coach is trying to get across to the players. And I'm not saying I know any more than any of us around this beer table at the minute. It's just a case of the breaking of lines and the progression of the ball is what wins your games. So it's a gamble.
Cuff there is saying there's no other, because Dan Burn's gone forward, Tonali's dropped back.
Like I say, there's enough cover. Yeah, there's enough
you've
cover.
You've got to back yourself, haven't you? I think. Yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying, Boggy, but I think it's like kind of you've got to back yourself to force the opposition further back. They'll maybe back themselves to break on us, but it's that kind of that battle, isn't it? Risk and reward, and who's going to blink, if you like. And I think if we take too much of a step back in regards to numbers in those positions, regardless who it is, whether it's Dan Burn or somebody else, then it's those fine margins where Spurs could pick the ball up, could push up 5-10 yards, then start to cement themselves in the game. I just think these little details can matter in terms of how you set up and the risks that you take. And I think I know what you mean with Burn's pace, but I just think like there, he proved with his touch that he can do it. And I know we're going to move on to the next clip, but just with Dan Burn himself, one thing I didn't mind last night with him being left back was the fact that when we had goal kicks, we purposely targeted him where he went up again, and we were able then to get the ball to Voltemade quick, and it's direct. You know, it's you might call it old fashioned, but I don't mind that because it's functional and it works.
Warren saying, "Go on, Tim, sort them out, man. They need it."
Absolutely.
Move on.
Now, let's just have a look at what's on the screen. Right, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Newcastle players now off this progressive football in the opposition box. How many times, now be honest with yourselves, how many times have we criticised Newcastle for not having bodies in the box previously? Really? Yeah.
And
so
strangely,
for me,
who's the highest up? Voltemade.
Yeah. So you've got to ask yourself, who's the one, who's at fault here? At the end of the day, there is nobody at fault. You got Dan Burn, who's Boki thinks he's out of position, but because we have so many players with pace and recovery at the back, whatever. I mean, the ball's come free here, so it's bypassed 5 players. Let's see what this next part gives him. So it's picked up from Bergvall. Now, if you have a look, right, this is them now on the attack, because we've had an attack that's on the break, and just look at the bodies now, all going backwards. Look, and here's your recovery. And this is what I said. Sometimes what players have to do, as soon as the ball goes on the opposite side, here's your Dan Burn getting back into his left back position, and you've got Fabian Schär who's sitting out the picture here, Kraft, Tonali, who's your natural 6. You've got your defender here who's picking up his man. So everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. And as daft as it looks yesterday, and I want to highlight this because we've had a lot of people slate Dan Burn. Who was the lowest marked player on the pitch yesterday? I've just given you a clue.
Dan Burn.
No, I've just said who was the lowest mark, and I've mentioned Dan Burn. So who do you think got the lowest mark?
Sorry, I thought you meant marked as in marked.
No, as in
We're talking about.
Here, I'm highlighting him. There you go.
Oh,
but picking up on that this slide here, they've went down the right, which is the wrong decision.
Well, that's their left, isn't it?
but that was where they got the ball.
Yeah, that's
our right. If that ball had been whacked over the left-hand side
into this channel
into
here,
this area here, Dan Burn, if this lad's got any pace about him at all, that was the lowest marked player. He's free. He's free for.
Yeah, but if you take it back to where that pass was made, the kid didn't have the opportunity to pass it left.
No, exactly.
He played the only ball he could play to a yellow shirt.
Hang on, the thing is as well,
we don't have to shout, guys. We don't have to shout. It's just a conversation.
It's a quick say, I know what you're saying, right? But if the ball drops right in the centre circle there, then Dan Burn can collect it, and we can go forward again and suffocate them, as opposed to Dan Burn dropping back and then he'd cover the space, yes, but Spurs would then have the ball. So I know exactly what you're saying, but I just think that's a good example of the risk and reward where we're going to win the ball, and regardless as the risk that you have where you've got the person behind, if we win it and Dan Burn wins it there where the ball drops around there, we can then still pen them in. I think that's what we're going for.
I can't believe I'm arguing just because I think we had a good game last night, but I can't remember the spheres of play. But as I say, if that ball goes the other way on the left, we are knackered. There's no way. If this guy's got any speed, there's no way Dan Burn's getting back to him.
It's not Dan Burn that you've got to worry about. Like I said, I don't know why everybody highlights one player. This is a team game, not individual efforts. It makes individual efforts to get the team working. But if you don't get cover, and this is why the gaffer sets the team up the way he does, and that's why he gets paid for. When he gets people out of position, he set a motion in play to cover that position that he has asked to vacate. Dan Burn doesn't go and do.
Dan Burn.
But he's not out of position because it's the way the gaffer's played. This is the tactical setup.
That defensive lane.
Oh my God!
He's the one out of position.
Yeah, but you're not listening to what the situation is. It's about situational awareness. You've got Malik Chow here, who's pacey. You've got Fabian Schär, who's still out of the picture yet. All the Tottenham players are in their own half. Where's the danger? There's no danger
for Tottenham.
Oh well. That's why he got the worst player on the park.
But again, as I say, if you took that back, you would say the player, all he was wanting, he was just wanting a yellow shirt to pass to somewhere. It wasn't as though he had all the time in the world to look up and pick.
No, but this is Bergvall here. This is Bergvall, right? He's picked the ball up from the rebound, which was the closed down shot
from the.
And look at the player who's by the side of him, who's creating that pressure for him to force the play. If he hadn't have worked, and this is Elanga, this is the work rate that nobody sees, right? That's Elanga grafting back to force the early pass from Bergvall. You've got Richarlison here who's making the break to give him an option. If Elanga doesn't get back to Bergvall, Boki's situation can then become viable because then Bergvall has got a direct path down here. Yeah, exactly. But Elanga, again, it's that work rate as a team that has to be effective to stop that play from happening. And that's what I said. It's not individual play that makes a team be effective. It's how the team work together. Right then, let's go on to the next one.
Just before you do, we've got a few super chats.
Let's do
it. Tim Sorton, sorry, we did that one. And then we've got the slide bogey, slide mate. You were so 80s. Then we've got win you for getting along your leads. Jail for shouting. Yeah, I'm sorry for shouting.
Are we done?
And jail for bogey because you're driving Gary crazy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Right then, let's because I missed this part where we were at. So here we go. So this is their attack, if you like, and it soon breaks down and the highlight in Ramsey. So here we go. This is Elanga into Willock, who I thought had a half decent game, if I'm honest with you. In the setup that was against Tottenham yesterday, it was still a strong team from Tottenham, but I thought there's certain individuals started to show a little bit of form. Some nice touches from Elanga. And this, for me, you look at, and this is why, Walter Messi, as Chris has highlighted here, some brilliant play. But again, the build-up play to this and what it's doing now is attracting 2 or 3 players because you're 20 yards away from goal. So they need to start being closed down because there's a shot coming on. And this little bit of trickery
Harvey
here.
Barnes yelling for it.
Yeah, and here we go. Just a little cry feel there, look, out of his feet. And that, I mean, he got a bit of criticism for that because he obviously looked as though he was going to go across the box, and you could see Kinski had made that step to try and close the far post down. And I think what Harvey Barnes had done is given him the eye to go to the far post and try to be a sneaky little devil and stick it in the near. Harvey Barnes' fault there about that, or do you just think, it's one of them that got away?
Unforgivable to not get it on target, at least.
Mm-hmm. I think he's got to go far post. I think
he's got to go far post.
Like what you're saying, Gary, is to obviously try to catch him out, and fair enough, but I just think it was tailor-made for him to try for that far post. Like,
I just think 2020 hindsight in a lot of ways, but all of these, this is where we are failing time and time again with the shots that we're putting in. Get them on target. Make the goalkeeper work at least. Because that, if you take it back to when he actually strikes the ball, he should be getting it on target. There's no excuse for missing the frame completely.
But to be fair as well, we've been complaining that players aren't shooting. At least he's stepped up and he's took the shot on.
Yeah.
I agree. It should be on target, and I agree. But if we're asking players to do that, but if we're asking players to do that, we'll have to accept that sometimes they are going to miss. You're not always going to hit the target.
Do you guys not think then, in this situation, what we've got on the screen here, is Harvey Barnes has seen where Kinski is, and he's obviously guarding that far stick here.
Post,
and
correct.
Yeah, so he's already made his mind up that he's going near stick as he receives his ball. Hence, he hits it first time.
Agreed, right? But he's got to hit the target.
Yeah. But if you look at this, I mean, it's not a country mile over, and it's not a country mile wide, is it? If you look at this, if I stopped that there, you'd think it was a goal, wouldn't you?
Well,
Kinski is nowhere near.
If it had been on target, it would have been a goal. That's the point.
Exactly.
When you're hitting it first time like that, obviously it is a bit of a harder technique. And I've said a million times that for me, players need to hit things first time, whether it's a shot across, because other players, opposition, are set. They're not set, and you can catch them off guard when they're not set. And obviously that's what Harvey Barnes tried to do. So I will give him credit for having the bottle to kind of go first time like that.
I think 8 times out of 10 you'll hit the target. But there are going to be 2 times when you won't, this is one of them 2 times.
Which is one of them 2 times, absolutely. Yeah. You see, for me, I mean, would we have been more critical if he'd have took a touch into here and gone across goal, hoping that Kinski gets a save for the 3 at the back post? It's all hypothetical, isn't it? Has he done something wrong here? I don't think he has, because as you can see here, if that was on target, 6 inches to the right of the post, it's a goal, isn't it? Because Kinski's not saving that.
That's all I'm saying. If it's on target, it's a goal.
Yeah. So I didn't put any blame on Harvey Barnes for that one at all. I just thought it was clever. Unfortunately, it just wasn't on target. But fabulous play, fabulous close control from Voltemade. And unfortunately, like you say, I think the ball and this is what I'm saying, right? You've got a player here.
Just Gary Warren saying, Gary, just use a blackboard so Bogie can understand. And at least if he distracts the class, naughty boy, You can throw the blackboard
detention.
duster at the fool. Oh, do you remember those days?
Oh, I
I've had
do.
the
Absolutely.
blackboard duster thrown at me a few times, I tell you.
I can
And
well
you can't
expect
say that word anymore, by the way. There is other colours of chalkboards to use if you want to. Again, let's highlight all of the conversation because again, it seemed to take the shine away from
Can you
Newcastle's
zoom out a
performance.
bit there, guys?
From where? From here?
Zoom out on the shot, Chris is saying. But you haven't got Spence in.
Spence is there.
No, can you see the caption? You zoomed in, not zoomed out or something.
I haven't zoomed in at all. It's just literally what Chris has done.
All right.
No, I can't.
Or does he mean his
I can't
name's not in the...
Yeah, it's not in the shot. We see, look, Spence in the what's name? Cuckoo Land. So, can you see that now? Oh, I see what you mean. It's just not showing fully on the screen. I can't do anything.
I think that must be the editing.
Yeah. So you can see Spence going on his honkers here to do his boots. Two players here, which again, this is the criminal thing for me. Fabian Schär is the one that he's supposed to be marking. Why on earth aren't you saying to one of these boys, yeah, you've got a short potential here, just get him back? What is the point of him doing what he's doing there?
The reason why, Gary, is because modern day players these days, the lack that responsibility, and it's all robotic, and they rely on the manager to tell them what to do. And back in the day, and obviously, you know, it sounds old-fashioned, but players took more responsibility there and then in the moments, and there's a lack of that these days.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think you are very correct by saying it's robotic these days. You know, if I say to the kids, you know, do this, and this is what I want you to do, I expect them to do what I've just asked them to do because when I'm keeping them out of harm, I'm directing them into adulthood, if you like. But at this level, what you're expecting is I've given you a tact to do. This is your tactical awareness program. I'm going to give you a tactical setup. But if something else happens, I expect the captain or whoever's in charge of your defensive unit, which is usually a keeper because he can see everything that's going on, he should have been screaming at this guy saying, I need another body back, while my main man is deciding to put his boots up. So I cannot see, and there's no argument for me anywhere apart from Tottenham making themselves look absolute child's play. And it's Sunday League football. This is crazy. But it still deserves, you know, it's a great delivery. I mean, look at that. They've run past the two players. Spencer's run past the two players, and now it's I mean, look at it. You know, Fabian Schär, that's the player mark. They can see everybody's marking him, but he's still got a lot to work to do. Bergvall there, you can see. Danzo's there. He's not jumping for it. In actual fact, if you look just at that one, that's something I hadn't seen. Stop. See his own player here that pushed Danzo out the way. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Right. So just look at Danzo here in the corner. Gets pushed just before he goes to jump. Hence, that's the reason. That's one of the main reasons why there was no main contact with that ball. And it goes on now to Ramsdale distribution. So again, really quick, and he's looking, sees Willock on the run, and again, this is where you're looking to get the call. It's a good ball over the top, and again, it's just breaking lines. And this is Polina. Willock does well here, like he says, does really well. But it's just that final ball, a little higher, and it would have been absolutely perfect. And this is what Wim was talking about last night, the sweeper keeper. I mean, that is all under control, I suppose you can say. And he gets it clear. And again, the lads are just giving him the applause that he required. Was he under any danger? Not really. I mean, the chesting it down could have put the ball into the opposition's feet.
That was the identical situation, if you remember, to Pope against Liverpool.
Well, it wasn't because Pope was coming out to the left-hand side and he was being closed down by Salah. To be fair, what you've got there is Bergvall, who's not very quick. He's a technical young lad, but he's not very quick. You've got two defenders back on him. Pope was faced with Salah, with no defenders next to him. So what he had to do there was make a decision about just headering it back into the danger zone or doing what he's done, and that's controlling the ball. But when he chested it, it did go away from him a little bit further than he anticipated. That's why he panicked and just cleared the ball into touch. But he did what he needed to do. And like I said, sometimes you just need to clear your lines. Tonali
had trouble at that point because he wouldn't have came off his line. He would have still been back. And then it would have been a challenge between the defenders.
You think Pope would have been in trouble?
I think
in
Pope
this situation.
Yeah, if you look at the ball over the top, I'm not saying Pope would be in.
It was exactly the same as the Liverpool situation.
And Pope got sent off. But what I'm saying is, you wouldn't expect Pope to come out the box like that.
No, but he did come out the box. Is the point I'm making.
Well, the point I'm making is that if the player goes through, so if that ball gets flicked on and the player goes through, Pope would be on his line still. Whereas Ramsdale,
he wasn't, was he?
Control the situation.
Yeah,
Against Liverpool last season, he wasn't.
Nobody got sent off. You're using the bad example.
Exactly, because he didn't handle the situation as well as Ramsdale did.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Ramsdale's handled that situation brilliantly.
Yeah,
but I don't think Pope would have actually been there. I don't think Pope would have run off his line like
But he was there. He was there to get sent off.
Well, Pope is a sweeper keeper. I think Pope is that type of keeper, but maybe he wouldn't have pushed up as much, I think, in this instance as Ramsdale has. I think Ramsdale has the benefit of being more comfortable on the ball, obviously.
So do you think Pope would have run out after that ball win?
Well, the fact is, that's exactly what he did do in the Liverpool game.
But I'm saying, do you think last night, if the way Pope's been playing since that game, the Liverpool game, would he have come out for that ball?
Well, that's hypothetical. That I've got no idea.
That's what we're talking. You had to talk about really hypothetical. That's what we'll ever do.
I'm talking about what actually happened. In almost identical, Gary's saying that they aren't, but I think they are almost identical situations where Pope's they both come right out and they're faced one-on-one with a player, and Pope chose to try and head it and ended up handling it and got sent off, whereas Ramsdale...
I've quickly put this one on, right? Just so I haven't seen this one back, but if memory serves me rightly, it's a bit different. So I don't know where this is from, but this is Nick Pope's red card versus Liverpool, when he got sent off for handling the ball outside the box, okay? Just to stop the argument and everything else. So here we go.
Newcastle United goalkeeper Nick Pope will miss the Carabao Cup final against Man United.
Can you see that?
After he was
there was no defender anywhere near him.
Yeah, well, he's way outside his box in exactly the same place.
Yeah, but Pope was trying to head the ball. That's
what I said.
Pope went down to head the ball. Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, he isn't faced up by an attacker from Tottenham. He's not got any pressure from the player from Tottenham. He could have headed the ball. What he's decided to do was take it on his chest. Where with Pope, he's tried to head the ball and completely screwed it up. I can understand there's a similarity, but like I say, if the ball had bounced up here, I'm sure Pope would have been able to head the ball, but it was so low, he muddled it himself up. He would have been better off just getting his body onto it and taking it forward, because Salah his momentum had already taken him past Pope. That's why when Pope fell on the ball and it hit his hands, there was no other option. But I mean, I understand what you're saying. There is a similarity to it. I just don't think it's the same because of the pressure. And I'll show it again, just so you guys can see.
I think what we can all agree with is Ramsdale dealt with that situation well.
Yeah,
you got the ball and he dealt with the issue.
Yeah, you can see the ball here. You've got Bergvall, which is this lad here, who again is not quick. You've got Richarlison, who's a bit quicker.
We can't see it at the minute, Gary. It's off.
Oh, sorry, I didn't share the screen. That was all. There you go. You've got Richarlison, who's just behind him. So Bergvall's here, running direct. You've got the lads, Fabian Shaw and Chow and Byrne, right? So, actual fact, I think that may be, not sure, that could be a Kraft in there because I can't see Kraft anywhere else on the park. So let's have a look because I think that we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's Kraft. So he has, like I say, the ball bouncing up at him where it was on the way down when Popey was trying to get it. That's what I'm trying to say. Similar, but like I say, I still think there's two players there that would have cleared that ball for Newcastle where Popey didn't have that opportunity against Liverpool because it was him versus. Nice touch. Oh, and there you go again. I mean, we had a lot of people. Somebody just put a super chat in there when I could hear it come through.
Yeah, we've got a couple. Yeah, we've got when I said zoom out, I think win means off the planet, and then he's back in a correct bookie. The reaction to the problem correct.
Yeah, I'm just going to take this back a touch because again there was lots of talk that this was a simple opportunity for us to get something. But I thought this lad, Tonali, last night was absolutely fantastic.
And this is where Borky says, "What's Chow doing up there?"
Yeah. What they all doing up there? It's criminal.
Exactly.
They shouldn't be there.
Well,
I mean,
nearly 7 inside the box.
Yeah, we've got Crafty here, who's our right back. We've got our left back here. What's going on?
I'm not raising
anyway.
the air bait.
So there's a little jink ball here from Tonali to the back stick, and again, you look at Malik Chow here. You know, how many players you've seen in the past that would have took this literally at goal? I mean, I'm surprised he didn't have a go himself. If I'm honest with you, in this situation, at first glance, I thought he was definitely offside. And then when you saw the replay, it was just a great ball. Unfortunately, what you'd got from Harvey Barnes, his momentum, it meant that the ball was behind him, and it became a very, very difficult chance. Difficult height, difficult chance.
Keep it alive, isn't he? You know,
yeah,
really
absolutely. Yeah,
nice touch to do that.
Yeah, and it's
by the way, that chance was harder than I thought it was because obviously I'm away to the right in the stadium there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a sitter that he'd missed. It definitely was not a sitter.
It certainly wasn't a sitter. No, and I'll give you. You know, I said exactly the same though.
Can I just quickly jump in? Brian Quinn celebrates 13 months of membership. Fantastic, thank you, Brian. But Brian, where was your prediction yesterday? You were one of 3 who forgot to put your prediction in.
And I nearly forgot to put mine in. It was really late. While me and Chris were on the channel, I'm thinking, did I press send?
I've had you in the list of non-senders.
I know. And I was on the chat with Chris, and I was like, I better check on the prediction league as I'm doing it. And I'm scrolling down, and I'm thinking, I haven't even sent mine in yet. So here we go. I hadn't even thought about it, to be fair. But I was going to go with 2-0. And I'd seen so many people put 2-0, 2-1. I'm thinking, I'm going to go with 3. 3-1, let's go for it. Nowhere near. But anyway, we got.
That's why I went with 4. We should have had 4 and all.
Oh, easy. Yeah, it should have been 4. And I think Irish put that in the chat earlier on. I think, we're all talking about what happened with Spence in his boot. But if you look at it, Newcastle should have had 4 easily. And again, this is Voltemade's goal, and you can see Malik Chow here smelling the interception. And this is fantastic. This is fantastic.
Absolutely superb.
So again, let's have a look. Before I move on, let's have a look at what we constantly talk about with Eddie Howe's 4-3-3, right? And we all get fed up of it. We're at 4-4-2 here, which is again this fluid 4-3-3. And as you can see, you've got your 4, and the 2, right? And we said yesterday, Willock had more of a free role because what was Ramsey's job alongside Tonali was to support that midfield. We always knew that they were going to try and overload that midfield. Hence, you'd got young Xavi Simons that's supposed to be on the wing, come and play more central because the lads that were there, that was 3 of them, just was getting outplayed by our two constantly. So Thomas Frank decided to move Xavi Simons in off the wing, and it still didn't work. They still couldn't get through those two players. Massive shout out for them two, fabulous. But again, you can see how we are starting to press, and again, it's Willock who's doing the hard work. He's doing the hard yards, really putting some pressure on Danzo there. You've got Polino to the right-hand side in front of him, and everybody is starting to step up. So when we talk about those trigger points, everybody's got a job to do, and everybody then goes man for man to a degree, and you can see everybody stepping up to find that man, that player that they want to do. But Malik Chow smells the interception, and it's a foot race now with Xavi Simons. And when I always talk about the desire to get the ball into feet, have a look at what Xavi Simons, how lax that lad is. And again, it's sped up a little bit there, but again, lucky deflection, and again, this is where what we talk about, lady luck and all that. And what's Chris's favourite? You can't rely on luck.
You can't count on luck, but luck counts.
Absolutely. The ball falls, really kindly to us to go back on that attack. And again, this is some nice play, I think, from Malik Chow. And the reasons why I say, and I highlight Malik Chow, and I'm talking about desire to get that ball. Not only was his will to get the ball on the halfway line before his player, which is Xavi Simons, he's gone past Xavi Simons, collected the lucky rebound, because again, we say lady luck, but is it luck when you've made them hard yards up the field of play when the ball ricochets back in your path? No, it ain't. It's your desire to get there or get that opportunity rather than the opposition. And like I say, you can see Xavi Simons just coming into the screen now, which is, like I say, we've already had, this is like the third phase now. And again, Willock's got the ball. You can see Voltemade in the box. It's one-on-one at the back stick as well. So everybody's got attracted to the three in front of them. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 players all attracted to the ball, and he just bypasses all of them. And God knows what Kinski was doing. Like I say, Superman was the call of the day. But for me, this is what I said. It's all about getting your luck. I mean, look at Xavi Simons. He's not interested. That's what I said. When you've got players in midfield that are really wanting to play for your club, some players only want to run forward. They don't want to run back. And that's why I said Xavi Simons is a luxury card. He's got no desire to follow you back.
And at that stage as well, if you look, Chow, not only did he just pass the ball to Willock, but he then ran past him so that if he wanted the option of passing it back to him for a cross from the byline, that option was on as well, if Willock hadn't seen Voltemade moving in.
He took one of their defenders away, didn't he?
And he took one defender away when he did it, exactly.
And it goes back to what I was saying before on that risk and reward, and that, you can do that.
Yeah.
And you can, rely on yourself to produce the goods, like Willock did there. Or you can take a step back, and Chow could have just won the ball and then retreated. But then we're not going to pen them in as much. So you've got to pick your poison, I think, in terms of, do we want to try and pen them in, or are we happy to contain them? So either way, there's a risk. And you've got to, like I say, pick your poison, what avenue you want to go down. That aggressive play there from Chow is brilliant. I'd rather at least try that. Obviously, you've got to manage the game accordingly, whatever is happening. But I'd rather we'll go down that route, really, because we're seeing the rewards, really.
But this is where you get the dichotomy for all you out there of opinion, isn't it? Because if just for example, that move breaks down, you could argue that Spurs could, this is maybe what Bokey's getting on about, that if they sling a ball over the top that happens to find a Spurs player, with having Chow up there, that's one less defender we've got to defend. But what I think Bokey is failing to appreciate is that, and you can't see the whole pitch there, but we've still got players back.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say about that is that was a natural phase of play. So it was natural that Chair won the ball and went forward with it. And that's what you'd expect.
Yeah, but he didn't have to then continue his run to the byline. You would say he should have stopped there and then went back and defended.
No, what I'm saying is that was natural. He carried on playing forward and followed through with the move that was happening. When the clip that was showed with Dan Burn was not in a natural position at the start of that clip.
Right. Okay, we'll agree to differ, as usual.
I mean, it's like I said, it's an interesting
risk
concept.
and reward, I think, is the phrase that Tim just came up with there, and that's exactly
absolutely
what it is.
It's exactly right. Now, let's go on to the next one then. So you can see Voltemade there. This is in our defensive zone. He's just received the ball in the air and he's cushion-headed it down to his left-hand side to pick up Tonali. And again, it's all about vision. You know, you're playing between lines here and you can see there's lots of yellow shirts in and around. And again, you talk, the word is desire. And you can see Willock here. He's supporting the lines now. But he sees the opportunity, and here's Ramsey just behind. So you've got your three midfielders all in your triangle, and your forward, who's obviously people would say, well, why aren't you up here, out on the wing to give us a release? But this is the beauty of having Voltemade in your side now, because he becomes that fourth midfielder. And it's a case of where do the defensive line of Spurs stop and say you've had enough? I mean, you've got Spence here. I think that's Porro. So there's your two fullbacks. Then you've got inside just here, you've got Polina and Danzo. So you've got a box four defence. And this is criminal. Again, you talk about, being criminal. This to me is another. Is that Spence or is that Saw? It's like that. No, there's Spence. That'll be Saw then. The ball comes in and literally the vision of Voltemade here and the desire from Willock to get into that right position. Again, pat on your back for the two of you. Lovely control from Tonali to see Voltemade again in a tight situation. But what a ball! What a ball that is to actually release. And again, you talk about. We all just trying to get
who's that that's run up into the box there? Who was the first man forward?
Absolutely.
Dan Burn.
Do you again?
That's how slow he is.
But we've looked at Willock there doing a really grand job, and like I say, the only thing I can think of who's putting all these things on the screen.
Final ball.
Yeah, the final ball. Should he have passed there, or should he have literally? Had he got the right to have a shot there?
I don't know, but I think.
Well, I think so, but I think with Willock, I think when he's got too much time to think, that's where he comes unstuck.
Yeah.
Instinctive play.
And obviously, this is the Ramsdale save, and again, you can see, your defensive four, Crafty here, following your player in, Shaw on his player, Chow, just looking at giving him the space to close down. Again, I think for me, probably a little bit too far away at this point. Elanga maybe should have been in a little bit more. And then you've got Tonali obviously coming into the back stick. Into the centre.
Running back though.
Yeah, doing the right thing. So Xavi Simons is trying to drop a shoulder to get himself half a yard. And like I say, the rest, as we say, is all Ramsdale.
Do you not think with Ramsdale as well, though, he gives a better presence around the box? I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but when he's playing, it just makes you feel a lot calmer. Like when the ball goes back and things, you're not thinking in your head.
You're not pooping your pants when they pass back to him.
Yeah, but he just seems to be more of a calming presence around the box.
But do you not think then, right? Let's just stop there, because for the second, we have been speaking, especially with yourself, Andy. We've been saying about this squad, right? Which player, is going to come into the 11 and contest a shirt, right? So for me, what I'm seeing at this present moment in time is potentially a couple of percent extra from some of these so-called bench players, right, that are contesting for shirts. So you are going to get times where the likes of Ramsdale is going to up his game by a couple of percent. You know, if you look at the situation, again, we talk about situational awareness. What I liked about that, obviously Ramsdale's, save was phenomenal. But he has then the mindset to obviously guard his front post. But what I liked about that is nobody switched off behind him. And when the ball comes back into the danger zone, and we've always been a little bit susceptible to that second ball, haven't we? When the keeper's made a save, have we backed off thinking it or expecting it's in the net? And are we still switched on to the game? And what you see there is Fabian Schär making sure the ball goes dead, just so everybody can give, Ramsdale a pat on the back. Well done, lad, type of thing. Let's reset and continue with the game. I think it was a phenomenal bit of play from Ramsdale from the save, but also from Fabian Schär. Again, for me, £3 million well spent. Absolutely.
But does last night not prove as well that it's not dropping players as such when we're doing this sort of thing? It's rotating your squad.
Absolutely.
That's what the big teams do. So I think we need to get out this mindset that we're dropping players or the player isn't. Because, Eddie's got a hell of a decision to make. It's central defence in regards to who plays.
But that's what I'm saying. It's contesting for the shirt, isn't it?
Yeah, but it also means that you don't have to worry about now, and that last night proved it is, you've got the players on the bench that can now come into the first team.
So absolutely.
It's no slight. It's no slight on the player who's on the bench to say to them, you're out the team. It's just purely because you've got another player there who's actually that 1-2% even better at the moment. And you're not criticising that one who's dropping down. I think with the keepers and Ramsdale, he definitely has more bravado, doesn't he, than Pope?
Yeah.
And you can see it, more confidence outwardly.
A much more confident player.
He is. I think, give it a run with Ramsdale. I think you need to judge him then because I just think with Pope, it's a difficult one. I still kind of lean towards Pope, maybe purely because I think he maybe is a little bit more reliable with some of his saves. This one here with Ramsdale, obviously he played really well. And that was a good save before, even though it did actually still drop into the danger area. But with this one here, he does kind of parry it out, doesn't he, to the 6-yard box, and we do clear it. And I just think with Pope, he seems to get out of the danger area really well, and he's a bit underrated that way. And it's a difficult one. Like I say, and like you say, Bogey, it's not, you're not criticising either player if you drop one on the bench. But I would probably still stick with Pope for now.
Okay, that's interesting. Like I said, I still, for me, I'm more on Bokey's card, if you like. I think now you have got a squad of players, all looking to play, and there's got to be a hell of a good reason, and I think that is good for the squad because now when you are picked by the coach that whoever the first 11 is, if I don't perform as an individual, there's somebody there waiting. And I think that is where we have been really lax at times. And we haven't really put that to the test. And I think we are starting to see, with a little bit of cash injection now, where we could be when we talk numbers that are squad players rather than, 27 that are... Yeah, the names are on the shirt on a shirt, but they're never going to be included.
It's what Brooke and I have argued about many times. This is the best squad.
That's not like
we've
you.
ever had.
It's not like you to say that you argue.
I've never ever argued this is not the best squad we've ever had. I've always said it's the not the best team. Sorry, I've always said it's the best team we've ever had.
You're on about the window being shocking, which is the reason we've got the bench we've got.
But you didn't want to rotate.
The transfer window being shocking.
You've always said this is the best squad we've ever had, but you did not want to rotate.
Well, I didn't want to rotate as much as he did rotate. I'll grant you that.
So what's the point in having a great bench and not rotating them around?
Because you don't necessarily need to rotate as much. But we did, and we got away with it. We played brilliant. Happy days.
Can I just answer Warren's super chat, because it seems to be confusing the chat quite a lot.
Who's Andy? I am so confused. Oh, well, Bogey's Christian.
Real name's Andrew.
Is Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't call you by your proper name, should I?
No, I don't mind, but it's Andy Book, so that's why it.
That's why.
Sometimes get called Andy.
That's why I confuse everybody, because I'm rubbish with names.
Well, at least you're not as bad as Win.
Barry?
It's all right, Dennis. I know. Here we go. Then this is another really good point from Ramsdale. Good cross in, and again, Again, I was a bit, I don't know why, but like I say, it looks awkward to me, Ramsdale, at that point. I mean, sometimes you've just got to do what you do.
That's him in,
it keeps you out, exactly.
This is what I'm saying, Gary. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had a great game, but on another day, if a striker puts that in, everyone's saying, what's Ramsdale doing there?
What's he doing?
Out of danger.
Yeah, for me, like I say...
Small margins.
It's like everything else, though. But you know what, though, guys? I have seen Pope beaten by something similar in the past. Because you're not expecting it to be deflected the way it was. You're expecting like a shot into the corners. So what he's done is he's got himself low, good centre of gravity, and he's just moved his body to block, hasn't he? The problem is it's that second ball. If that second ball then falls to a yellow shirt, then it's a goal back. There's nothing you can do about it. But like I said, you've got to put yourself in the situation. And that's why these guys play with the block grids when they're doing the training, when they throw the ball at that uneven block. So even the thrower doesn't know which way the ball's going to go. So what chance has the keeper got? And it's all about reaction. And like I say, for me, what I love about Ramsdale is the kid still got so long. If you think about, is he 26? And he's knocking on the door. If we can get him back to that mentality, and I think that is another thing we need to talk about with Ramsdale. Sometimes I think his mental state overshines his ability. And we see once he starts having a wobble, and we yet to see it yet in a Newcastle shirt. We saw it massively at Arsenal, where he was having a little bit of a wobble. How his mental state reacts to that situation. So, like I say, I still think there's a
worry
little bit more
about
out
that
there.
when it happens.
Absolutely.
Isn't this a great place to be in for Eddie again with the keepers? You've got two brilliant keepers that are very much on par with each other. They've both got the slight weaknesses, but they've also got the massive strengths. And obviously, with that, they're both pushing each other. So again, it's the same as the central defence. A little bit now, the same as the midfield. Everybody's pushing each other to get into the team.
Especially when you consider Tottenham. You look at Kingsley for them last night. He's not pushing their keeper, is he? Their first choice keeper. So we're in a great position, like you say, Bob.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, you look at our squad now, and that's why when we've just been talking about the bench, you look at them players now, and when we were looking at the Tottenham players, and they were saying, we've got 10 injuries and all that, and I'm like, you've still got lots of internationals on your field of play. It's only weak in certain areas. Yeah, you probably haven't got your first choice players that play that, and we talk about a balanced side, but you've still not got a bad side here, looking at them. And that's what I said. For me, I just think we took them to task. And unfortunately,
it didn't work going down memory lane. 1-2 keepers in the league. We've always done. We always have done. Really, we had Pavin, Shaka, Given, and Harper, Crullen, Pope, Dubs, and now Pope and Ramsdale. Yeah,
I think Harper was an unsung hero at times.
Oh well,
didn't get a lot of praise from a lot of people.
He could have if he'd left Newcastle at the time. He would have played for. He would have had 1 million England caps by now. But
he'd have been old.
He stayed for the money. No, well, he wasn't old then. No, that's the point.
No, he wasn't when he left. No,
but nobody was going to pay him what we were paying him to be number 2.
No, exactly.
Nowhere near.
So this is the Elanga with the almost assists, lol. Because, like I say, poor Elanga just seems to.
Well, that's it. You can if nobody's putting them in, you.
Yeah, there you go. So we're just going to knock this one across, and you can see Elanga just peeling off Spence there, and again puts it into the in a good zone. I mean, you could see Osula in a perfect position.
Lovely cushion.
Instep volley.
Good defending. Good defending.
Yeah. And like I say, it's luck a little bit, and you need a little bit of luck to get you where you need to be. What we got here?
We've got Warren again. Gary, like me nana, she used to go through the whole family before getting to your name, but thanks for sorting with Granny Gaz Andy Book.
Yeah, terrible. I am awful with names, so it won't be the first and it won't be the last time. I forget Bokeh, so I call him Andy, because I never forget that. I don't know why, but sometimes my memory just doesn't go to Bokeh straight away. It always goes to Andy. But you will get onto my wavelength. I hope you don't.
I hope not.
Yeah, me too. So listen, the final shout has been probably more than a shout. If I'm honest with you, but you know what? This is, like I say, this is the reasons why we do what we do, and we do it with passion, because we can see exactly what's happening with Newcastle now. And like I said, when you talk about what's in the pipeline, what's in the future for Newcastle, I think there's a hell of a lot. So for my final slot, I suppose we need to talk about West Ham, because we've got West Ham on Sunday, and to be fair, they've not really been shining stars. Really strange system of play the weekend. They lost to Leeds.
They got a system.
They have got a system, but it's not really doing them any good whatsoever. And it seems to be a 3-3-3, if I'm honest, which doesn't really count, which doesn't really work, because that means they've only got 10 players. And I can't seem to find on my screen who that other player was. Susie, oh, there you go, you plonker. It's me. I've just uploaded what I've put down, and for some unknown reason, I've missed Souček off. I'm thinking, how does that work? That isn't even a system.
It's exactly what I just said.
Yeah, it's me. Okay. I don't even know why I did that, but I did. I don't know where any of these boys play, because I haven't had a look at the system regarding Nuno Espirito's system of play. So I'm going to have a quick, brief look at how, and let me have a. So they, oh crikey, Moses.
Well, I'll take you through some weird
Scholes
facts.
is out there, so go on then. Go on then. You
like
do that while I'm playing with this system.
So West Ham have won just 2 of their last 12 Prem games against Newcastle, and both of those came away from home at St James's Park, which is not where we're playing. Newcastle have lost just 1 of their 8 last games at the London Stadium. Won 5, drawn 2, lost 1. West Ham have made their worst start to a Premier League season after 9 matches. They've only got 4 points after 9 matches, with 5 points being their previous worst. Hammers have never previously suffered as many as 8 defeats in their opening 10 games. So let's hope we can make that happen. Newcastle are winless in their last 7 away Premier League games, however, failing to score in 4 of them. They last had a longer away winless run in 2021. So we do know that our away form has got to start improving, which we'll talk about. West Ham have conceded the most goals in the Prem this season, 20, and have faced the second most shots, 133. They have the second worst expected goals against, 15.2, and it's the earliest into a league season that the Hammers have conceded 20 goals since 1967. What a summer that was.
What a summer. Indeed.
7 of
One of the
Newcastle's
hottest.
last 13 Premier League goals have been scored in the last 15 minutes, with only one of their previous 34 scored in the 76th minute or after. Bruno's 90th minute winner against Fulham on matchday 9 was their latest winning goal, coming after 76 minutes. Nuno lost 3 of his first 4 Premier League games as West Ham boss, losing the last 3 in a row. It's his 6th run of 3 defeats in a row as a Premier League club manager across all clubs. So he's quite used to losing streaks as War Nuno. Eddie Howe has won 7 Premier League matches against West Ham, playing 10 times. Only Aston Villa have claret and blue, another claret and blue. Only Aston Villa have won more times. Bruno has got 3 Prem goals in 8 games, only 2 fewer than he managed in 38 games last season, and it's his best start ever. He's ended on the winning side in 19 of the 21 matches he's scored in. I think you could say that about a lot of players, to be fair, because obviously if you score, you're going to have more chance of winning the game. This is Callum Wilson's first ever Premier League appearance against one of his former clubs. I'm surprised about that. I didn't realise that all the time Callum Wilson was with us, he never played against Bournemouth.
I was injured.
But he's always injured. You're going to say he wasn't
yeah,
available.
but I would have thought he would have played one of them, or featured in one of them, but no, he never has. So when, if and I'm assuming he will, turns out by West Ham against us on Sunday, it'll be the first time he's ever faced a former opponent. So they are your little quirky facts for the match, and we can get on to your tactics now, Gary.
Rightio. So let's have a quick look. This is seems to be their system of play, if you like, and it looks very much like a 3-4-1-2. And he's got Bowen playing a little bit narrower with Somerville, but Somerville plays more of a tracking back type of player this season, because they have been more a defensive outfit than they have an attacking outfit, from what I can see. And like I say, it does become a little bit laughable when you, if I just give you guys a little bit of a look at their pass map, and make sure I've got that on, because then you can see what I mean when I put this up. I'm going to have to change over in a second, because unfortunately my system doesn't pick up.
Just while you're doing that, Harry Ellie's Warren, I mean, is saying cistern or cistern. The latter referring to the fact that they ain't very good.
Exactly. So there you go. This is the system of play that you get from West Ham. From the keeper, you get your 2 centre halves, and your second centre half goes and becomes that number 6 along the midfield. Again, Souček, who likes to run from the midfield forward into the left-hand side. And again, you've got Bowen playing in between, the same as Somerville, in between the 18-yard lines. Again, it's about trying to dominate narrow spaces. So what they've tried to do under Nuno is bring Wan-Bissaka in from that right centre-back alongside into Souček. And I think that is Irving, yeah. And then you've got Diouf out on the left-hand side. But I do feel sorry for this lad, little young Scales, who's Scholes, I should say, who I watched him last year. It doesn't really do a lot. And what he does do, he doesn't always do it right. And again, he's been forced into a situation, from what I can see, by Nuno. Like I say, he's not really given an opportunity to do and provide. And the reasons why I say that, I'm going to put it onto the chalkboard, because this is sometimes gives you a little bit more of a look at how things are happening for him. Just trying to square that up. So this is West Ham. As you can see at the top, I have highlighted everything. So you can see the success and you can see the failures among the players that I highlight. So let's have a look at young Scholes to start with. There you go. Doesn't really get involved, is the words I'm going to say. One of them's back. He's had one dribble and he's lost a dribble just in front of the D there. So
did he play the 90 minutes of that game?
I'm not sure because, like I say, I haven't seen any highlights or anything like that. So I haven't looked at West Ham massively this year. But again, you look at the way the system of play, you can see that Scholes is just a number on the park if he plays the weekend. Nothing really comes through him. He's not really expected. He's just a body on the park. But again,
so Gary, can I just ask that, because I don't sometimes get this sort of thing? Is that all the passes he had in that game?
Yes, that's the whole time he was on.
And he only had 3 passes?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because they just don't utilise him. That's what I said. I looked at young Scholes last season. Like I said, we're only into the beginning of the season, and because of my other commitments, I don't really get the opportunity to watch the Premier League, even the highlights sometimes. And like I say, West Ham is one team that has literally slipped my eyesight this year. And I really wanted to have a look at how Callum Wilson was going to react to his move down south. And because he's fallen out with the management for whatever reason, he's just not getting played, even though there's an argument behind the scenes now with Núñez saying that isn't the case at all. It literally is, me just setting up a team that he thinks he can vie in the Premier League, and up to yet it's been the opposite. So this is Souček, as you can see, and you can understand now the reasons why Souček is in this team, and you can also understand why young Scholes doesn't really get involved, because Souček is exactly the same
You only
position.
played 25 minutes in that. This is the Leeds game, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you only played 25 minutes.
From the start, though, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's
probably why he was substituted.
Yeah, but he doesn't offer them anything. But why pick him? You know what I mean?
It's a young
Surely
player.
all you're
It's a
doing,
difficult situation, isn't it? Like,
It is.
You've thrown him into the fire there, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it was the same last season. The lad doesn't seem to.
There were two down after 15 minutes. So he obviously took a defender off and put Callum Wilson on to replace him.
And they were still lost.
Yeah.
So
Well,
all I'm saying,
2-1, so they got one back.
But I think the problem is with West Ham and with Souček. We know Souček likes to run into that channel, and I don't know whether it starved Scholes of being involved.
I think the passing map that you had up, Barry, that shows the problem. That massive line between the two centre backs, they're frightened. The state of mind they're in at the minute, in the position that they're in, that they're frightened to try stuff, so they're just passing it back and forwards in their own half because they're frightened of losing the ball.
Our press could really damage them from that point of view.
Massive. Yeah, massive.
Your pass map summed it up beautifully.
Yeah. So I'll put that pass map back up because you can see.
You see that, and that's in their own half, and that just,
But you can see these two, Kilman and Todibo, are just passing it amongst each other. That is the thickest line in the entire team. So when you look at this as a spider web, you're asking a question: where are you passing to? And it looks like
there's nobody taking responsibility, nobody taking chances, and if they aren't coming off, which is why they aren't showing us passes.
Yeah, exactly, and you can see with Bowen, he used to play out here.
We think, oh, should I try it? Should I try it?
No, okay. Let's go on to Boki's mindset, and we'll talk about this because what I can see on here, they're very right-sided minded. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of the balls don't go out to the right-hand side, so that would be our left back. Everything comes to the right-hand side. So this is going to be Kieran Trippier's day if Trippier starts. So are we looking at throwing a different system into it to try and quantify where their attacking moments are? Because obviously, if you look, Paqueta for them is Tonali for us. Because everything comes through Paqueta. Absolutely everything. All the thick lines are up to Paqueta. And then he dictates the play in front of him.
Talking about skulls there, Gary, and Warren saying, bloody hell, Wins had more dribbles than that lad.
Let's have a look at Paqueta's involvement in this game. Again, everything in the final third to the halfway line, but again, a luxury player. Paqueta doesn't like working in these channels. He's always the one who's the offensive. But again, look how much red on there, and it's probably as equal with the greens. So
just ask the rest of the fellas. Anybody actually watched West Ham play this season?
I haven't.
I see them against Leeds. I did see that one, and most of it.
What was the game like then, Tim? Come on, give us some info.
They were just out of ideas, honestly, and that pass map does kind of reflect it in that a lot of the passes were square, and they had no real kind of presence going forward. And Callum Wilson came on, but didn't really do much. I think I have seen some of the other games as well, one of them anyway, where Callum Wilson wasn't on the pitch, and they had kind of false nines, and they had nothing in the final third. I mean, Paqueta, he is quality, and like you say, Gary, he's by far their best player. And if anything good happens, it's through him. So we've got to try and keep tabs on him. But I mean, I think I always kind of say in the Premier League, no game is necessarily easy, but we should go into this one really full throttle.
Confident.
Was it the Monday night football or the Friday night football? I can't remember when they played Brentford. That was live at 8 o'clock.
I love this Irish. If Jackson Pollock painted footballers. And just to answer the question, out of interest, has Gary done any coaching before? Yes. Quite a bit, if I'm honest. I mean, I did back in the late 80s, early 90s. I had this driven idea that of becoming a manager someday at a decent level. So I went and worked at Walsall Football Club for 3 years, getting all my badges and everything else, and got to a point where I was probably more qualified than a lot of managers in the first division before it went to the Premier League. And then was kindly told by a professional, because I'd never played at a high level, I'd never make the grade. So I walked away from the game, probably to my detriment, the amount of money that they're on now. Worked in the health industry for the last 30 years, which hasn't filled my pocket with anything whatsoever, apart from tears. So yeah, I have. So yeah, I mean,
Warren, do you get that pass map, Andy? There will be an eclipse on the 17th when Jupiter reaches Uranus.
There's an eclipse every time I stand up, mate.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So, Tim, you were saying that it looks very much as though they're a square playing team. I mean, from what I've seen from the angles that I've seen on everything, a lot of their progressive balls have been more percentage passes rather than accurate passes. So they're just, again, forcing the play rather than just allowing the game to play out. And I often find that, we have been guilty at times ourselves for doing very similar, where you're trying to get something that just isn't there. How many times have we said you've got to pass around a player rather than try and pass the ball through them? And if you give and go and play into the triangles, there's more chance of you getting. And Win knows my old saying, the ball is round, your feet are flat. The ball travels a lot quicker than your feet will ever do. But you've got to play the averages, and I think, you know, looking at all of this, if I'm honest with you, all it shows me is there isn't a single player, and you've all hit the nail on the head, seems void of ideas, void of confidence. But
it reminds me very much of Newcastle teams in the past that have been relegated, where confidence is just non-existent throughout the squad. And once that seeps in and settles in, it's, you know, almost impossible to get it out the system, because everybody's frightened to try something in case it doesn't come off.
Their fans as well.
Especially, I was just about to say it, Jim, especially at home, where, you know, you try something, it doesn't come off, and you can hear the fans audibly going, "Oh, what have you done there?" You know,
they're sick of it, but they're also sick of the board, like we were sick of Ashley, and they're protesting against their own board. So it is,
that's right.
Like you say, it's very similar in terms of a toxic atmosphere there.
Yeah, and we have to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it is literally from the board down, isn't it? You know, and I think it's been, you know, whatever decisions that have been made by Sullivan, Golds, and a lot, you know, et al., if you like, hasn't been in favour of the West Ham fans whatsoever. And like I say, that ground, I don't know whether you guys have ever been to it, but it is absolutely awful.
I've never been, but it looks terrible. Like.
There's no atmosphere whatsoever. No, I feel sorry for them, because obviously Upton Park for me was one of the grounds as an away venue, which is me and my granddad used to venture regular. My granddad loved Upton Park, and so if ever Newcastle was away back in the good old days, and it was at Upton Park, we were there. And I again, it's got that feel. You know, that raucous. When you can imagine players walking out at St James's Park. You know, it was a similar feeling when they walked out of Upton Park. Lovely atmosphere. There you go.
Poor little Lammers.
Yeah, little Lammers. But again, it's an interesting one. Right, let's test your knowledge then. Who's going to play for Newcastle? This, I think, is potentially something that could be difficult this weekend. But I think, if I'm honest with you, it'll go back to the tried and trusted. I think Wednesday night was the chance to get the lads a breather, recharge the batteries, if you like. So I am going to leave... Foxy, yeah, Walsall are top of the league at the minute, mate. Yeah, you're right. One of my old mates is still there, still works there, so he gives me updates all of the time on where the lads are. A lot of the lads that I worked with are long gone. I think half of them are in the ground now, to be fair. So let's have a look then. So you're Eddie Howe. Who's in goal?
Well, if I was picking, it would be Ramsdale, but it'll not be. It'll be Pope.
Tim?
I wouldn't be fussed out of either of them, because I think I can see both sides. Do you know what I mean? The argument for both. I mean, I think it will be Pope. And for now, I wouldn't necessarily argue against that.
Well, I'm the same. I'm not vehemently committed either way.
Aye.
Bokeh?
I don't think you can drop Pope from the Premier League team because he hasn't done anything wrong. I think you would just knock his confidence if you did it. Ramsdale's got his confidence from obviously playing a couple of cup games, and he knows he's going to get his chance at some point. So I think you don't drop Pope because, as I say, it would just basically knock his confidence.
And in the presser, Eddie made a point of saying that Ramsdale has been the absolute perfect professional, and this sort of augurs into why there's rumours as well about him getting a contract, that he hasn't kicked up any fuss. He's been, he realises the situation, and he's quite happy to bide his time. He's training fantastic. He's helping Pope in training. They're working together. There's no animosity between them. And Eddie made a point of mentioning that in the presser.
Well, against Fulham and won that game at full time, you've got Ramsdale walking on the pitch with like a beaming smile on his face. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't even played any of the game. And it does seem a great character from that point of view, having the squad.
Exactly. And of course, Eddie knows him from his Bournemouth days.
Aye.
It was him that gave him his debut.
Exactly. Back four then, gentlemen. Starting with your left back. Got to be Dan Burn, hasn't it?
Yep.
Anybody disagree?
The say Hall's the nearest of the Crocs ready, but I don't think you'll start him.
I mean, to be fair, I think at this present moment in time, even if Hall was fit and ready to go, I think he'll be benched before he plays. I think it's going to be steady Eddie with this guy, to be fair.
You just want Burn to be sharp, don't you? He's played every game, hasn't he? And you kind of wonder at what point will he
stop?
Burn out?
Yeah.
But
or make a mistake because of tiredness.
Yeah.
And I think that
he doesn't look tired, does he? You know, he does seem a bit of a machine now.
But you see, that's the problem, and this is why I always say it. And I know it sounds absolutely crazy when I say this, and I go back to my coaching days, and the reasons why I say this is sometimes quality gives you really good things, but heart and desire can win you games. So you have to ask yourself, and this is why I think, when Eddie Howe sometimes gets misquoted when he talks about having local lads in the team, right? It's got nothing to do sometimes with loyalty, being your mate, being, he's my favourite player. It's about what he gets out of the others because of that desire, that willingness to work, because of the club that he supports, because he's a local boy, more pressure on them, so they have to perform. And what you do with players like that is you put them into the shop window and you hoping it rubs off on the players around you. And if you've got 2-3 players that are willing to give you that extra 5% to get the result that you require, you have them in your squad. You could have, I used to have an ex-professional. I'm not going to mention the names because I don't want to discredit the lad. If he was here in front of me, fantastic. But he used to like a beer. He used to like a drink. But the quality the lad had was stunning at the level that we played. He was absolutely head and shoulders above everybody else. But the mentality towards him wasn't great. So sometimes he used to turn up on a Saturday. You could see he'd had a session on a Friday. So I had the call to say, I'm going to put you on because you're the quality. But I used to say to him, I'd rather have 2 young kids in there that are going to run the 90 minutes than you, who's going to go and do 10 minutes and then go and puke up at the corner flag. So, sometimes you've just got to say to yourself, what does it give you and what can I get the rest of the team to see from that one bloke? And for me, at this present moment in time, as much as we've all had a look at Dan Burn, we recognise that it's not his desired position, but he doesn't let the lads down. It's the system, unfortunately, sometimes, as Bobby just said, going up there.
Do you not think this is the game, though, to potentially give Dan Burn a rest?
For who?
We're going to bring back a lot of the other first-team players that have been first-team players so far this season. So maybe just pop Kraft in at left-back.
But that's the gamble, isn't it? This is what I'm saying.
It is a gamble, but Eddie took the gamble in the midweek and it paid off massively for him.
But he didn't gamble by playing players out of position, Andy.
To play all season or the rest of it until Hall's back in that position. He's going to have a rest.
Kraft is not a left back.
Well, he's not, but neither's Burn.
No, but what I'm saying is he's left-footed.
But Burn has played left back millions of times. And by the way, Burn is doing it very well at the minute, regardless of what you say. Incidentally, by the way, Warren is saying, let's get the last legs out of Pope this season because Pope is 33, Ramsdale's 27, and that could be where we're aiming at.
This isn't me having to go at Burn. This is me saying that Burn will need a rest at some point. And this is a game that
Duracell bunny, man.
But this is a game we should be winning. Maybe it's the one that's the one position that will take a little chance and play somebody else in there just for this game.
You see, if I'm honest with you, I think
Against Bowen.
I think Dan Burn is in a situation now where I think he's an honest lad. I don't think he would, at the detriment of the results, put himself in a situ where if he felt as though he was on the burnout, and a lot of players feel it before you see it. If he was to be in that scenario, I think he'd be the honest lad to say to the gaffer, "I need a break." I don't think he would put the club before himself, or himself before the club, I should say. So I honestly believe at this present moment in time, when I look at the gamble, the risk over the reward, if he is fit and available, and we're only talking potentially one more game to play him at left back because we've got the international break after that. So that gives both Lewis Hall plenty of time to get them running legs going, get his fitness back up to level, hopefully a couple of under-21 games in between that to get his sharpness back. That's when you can start saying to Dan Burn, come on, let's pull you now. So I think this is that time now where you say, you know what, son, you have done fantastic. Do one more for me. That's how I feel. So, are you boys in agreement or disagreement? I mean, this is you. That's Eddie Howe, not me. I'm just putting my point of view in.
Dan Burn will play. There's no doubt about that.
Tim?
Well, like I said, I do know where Borty's coming from in terms of like needing to give Dan Burn a rest if he is getting tired because he's played all these games. But like I say, he's like a machine. He doesn't actually look tired. He just powers through every time. And if Lewis Hall is due back after the next international break, then I think you probably might as well play Dan Burn in this one with a view to Lewis Hall coming back in afterwards.
Cool. Okay, then. 2 centre-backs from you guys. Do you think Botman will be back?
That depends. If Botman's back, obviously you play Chow and Botman. I'm saying, obviously, that I would play Chow and Botman. Yeah, I'm not going to drop Chow.
Yeah, so Chow's in, right? So whether he plays left or right.
Even though it's a so-called easy game and we could give him a rest if we need to, I still don't see the point in rotating just because we can.
So let's put it this way. I'm going to say Chow's in anyway because I think he's been the standout. But I can't. If I'm honest with you, I can't drop Shaw. So for me, that would be the two because I think Shaw had a tremendous game against Tottenham. Spurs. I didn't think he. Yeah, absolutely. And why change? For me, a winning side to a degree where you're completely dismantling everything that's been set up. So I think Shaw deservedly now getting a goal as well, progressive balls up the field, deserves another shout again against a weaker opponent than Spurs.
Yep.
In agreement? Or?
I agree.
I think Shaw will probably play, and it's a quality problem to have because whoever plays, they'll do a good job, no doubt. But if it was me, I think as long as Botman is absolutely fine and fit to go, I think I would play Botman because him and Chow have been brilliant together. And while Shea had a good game, I just think there was the odd time where he got involved with Richarlison. He was diving in a bit and he just gave away a few silly free kicks. I know it sounds a bit picky. But I just think that he didn't do anything that would surpass how Botman was playing for us. I just think it'd be a bit harsh on Botman through that injury to come out the side and not get back in again. I mean, I think it will happen for now anyway. But yeah, I personally would go for Botman.
Warren here again.
Momentum is key. Subs are for injuries and people who are puffed out. There's a good old Geordie expression. Are you puffed out?
Are you puffed out yet? Absolutely. For me, I think we've got the international around the corner, right? If this is a serious head injury, a serious cut, if he does play, it's going to have to be strapped, bandaged, and because you don't want it to open up again. And sometimes it doesn't always give you the best mindset playing with a bandage on your head, because then you could. It's like everything else. I always used to say, players with bandages with my kids. If you see an opposition with a bandage, is a target. You know what I mean? Because there's a weakness somewhere. And I'm not saying that people are in the same mentality as myself, if I'm honest with you. But playing with a bandage on your forehead, often restricts your movement. Can feel a little bit isolated at times when you're looking at it. Can be second mind to sometimes from throwing your head in the danger zones where obviously he got the injury in the first place, because you've got to be brave. I think I'd rest him. I think I'd keep. For me personally, another week out the side doesn't mean that you've been dropped. It just means I want you to be 100% when you come back, and that just gives that healing time for me.
That makes
7
sense.
days.
If you doubt about the cut, do you know what I mean? Then yes, I think that makes sense. Just to leave him out for this one, so it does fully heal. If it hasn't healed yet.
Yeah, it's 7 to 14 days before the healing process.
He's had staples.
Yeah, which is better. I mean, staples, it does pull the skin together. But you've still got 7 to 14 days before you've got, a closed wound. So
I think it's easier just to leave Botman out, let him get over the head injury and play Shaw. There's no issue with that. So,
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not as if we haven't got covered on the bench. I mean, there's no reasons why Botman can't be on the bench if, you're desperate and required. I can't see no reason in that whatsoever. So I'm going to go that way. Right back, Kraft or Trips?
I'm not bothered.
Yeah, I'll go Trips.
Midfield 3, similar. I mean, you go back to where you were before, do you think? Tonali's got to play, yeah?
Instead of J7.
Tonali and Bruno and maybe Ramsey for J7. Is that what you just said there,
Yeah.
Marty? Sorry?
Yeah.
I think I would go with that as well, as long as, if Ramsey's feeling good to go after those whatever 80 minutes he had. I think in these sorts of games where we're going to take the game to the opposition, then I think Ramsey's better suited, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you saw, J7. I don't know whether you saw the footies that I sent you. Somebody's put a meme when J7. Yeehaw! Yeah, I mean, it's certainly one for the American mag to ponder. I'm sure he'll show it on the show. Got to be careful with J7 with his commitment to the cause, I think. I agree with you. I think Ramsey's done enough from what I've seen to get into the side. It's whether they want to go and spoil it a little bit. For me, there's still a couple of players in the West Ham side that I want to be careful with. Thomas Souček, we know what he can give you down that right-hand side. So Joe Litton gives you that little bit more cover. But again, I'm with you guys. I think if Ramsey's still okay and he feels fit to go, I couldn't understand why he wouldn't play him. So the only decision would be either or, wouldn't it? Because they both individually different.
Tim was saying he thought Shea had a hard time against Richarlison. He was just saying, I think Shea was kicking Richarlison because Shea felt he was crying all the game like a child.
Yeah.
So he wanted to help him out a little. Good old Fabian looking after his fellow professionals.
Absolutely.
And Warren saying the healing process is what I say between shows.
Oh, bless you. We say Nuki Brown, which gets you through these shows. I'm telling you now. I wouldn't be. I tell you now. I've got to that situation now. I would not mind either or. They both give you something different. I think it's nice to have these conversations with you guys. For once, being a fan, looking at positions and having discussions on who is the best equipped. Both of you are absolutely right. Joe Litton gives you a different game to Ramsey. Both can spoil. Both can get goals. Ramsey's still got the best to come, I think, from what I've seen. But
I think J7 is better when we are going to be under the cosh.
Yeah, I also think J7's best against a team that aren't confident, because he's a spoiler. And I think sometimes he can get under your skin. And when your mindset isn't quite right, he's the perfect pal to jump on board and really upset the opposition. Your Anthony Gordon back in the side for your left side?
I think the front three pick itself, doesn't the Gordon, Murphy and, Lamara.
Yeah.
I don't see it being any different than that.
Yeah.
And I think
so. Murphinho.
Murphinho, indeed.
So that's your starting 11, gentlemen. There you go. Again, I wouldn't argue any of it. I think it's really superb. Ladies and gents, it's time for the arrival. The man, the myth, the legend, also known as the American Mag. Chris is
How's it going, lads?
In the hoose.
Yeah.
Okay. You're right, dude?
All good. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
I tell you, I loved your tactical setup, mate. Fabulous.
We're gonna try to do that every time after every show.
Yeah, loved every minute of that, mate. So much nicer than my crap.
Wow.
And so much easier for me to explain because you've circled, you've done everything else. Apart from obviously Boki.
Boki didn't agree, but actually I agree with Boki. Actually, I do. We got Peter in here as well for the late night show. But what was I gonna say? I do agree with him, and the point of that is that's what it's for everybody to have a discussion. With those highlights. So whatever they think, I guess
it was superb. Gentlemen, I thank you so much for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, thank you so much for jumping on board. We've had that extra time, and we needed it, to be fair, discussing it. So without further ado, it is over to you. See you all on the next one.
Ciao.
Take care, everybody.
See you later, Gary.
Cheers, buddy. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the late night show. We got a lot of news to talk about. We got the Craig Hope Confidential today, Thursday. We're going to talk about why fans are not allowed anymore to gather around training at the training ground. We're going to talk about the stadium. We're going to talk about local hero not being played. I believe it was on Saturday. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. A little bit of an update on Wissa. Osula won't be sold according to his information. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, ladies and gents. The late night show starts now.
Set up for maximum confrontation and super opinionated debates. The NUFC Late Night Show with Chris the American Man, Derek DeMadio, and Andrew Boki, and the rest of the panel. Monday through Thursday from 9:30 p.m. UK and UFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army.
Hey. All right, ladies and gents, welcome, one and all. Don't forget to smash the like button if you support NFC Talk, and I appreciate everybody that's been super chatting. Of course, we got another hour and a half to go ahead until 11 p.m. UK. So welcome, everyone. Cheers to Tim for coming on, of course, staying on for a long time. And now we got his brother Peter.
His alter ego.
To sub in, to his alter ego, exactly, to sub in for him. How's it going, Peter? How's it going, lads?
It's
all good?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's not Peter.
Europa.
Chris, Irish Assassin's quite right there. He paid for me and Win to go in prison, and it never happened.
Oh, that is true. That's good. If you super chat to put people in jail, we're gonna get that sorted when I come on. So ni bada. We're gonna get it sorted. No problem at all. So first of all, let me get to Peter's takes on the game. I do agree, by the way, Boki, you didn't say anything wrong, man. There's no reason why Burn should be up there that high. No reason whatsoever. And there is a reason why Chiao should be up there high, because he actually has the quality, has the capabilities, has the speed to get back. And it's plain and simple. Night and day, black and white.
He has got the speed to get back.
Nothing more, nothing less. Plain and simple. You're talking about Chiao. Doesn't have the speed. Are you on it?
Chiao? I thought you said Shea.
No, I'm talking about Chiao. Anyway, you guys were discussing the why Chiao was up there and why we criticized Dan Burn for being up there. And I thought Burn had a magnificent game as a left back. I think it was the first ever best game I've seen. Great stuff from him. No criticism whatsoever on his game per se. It's just that 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be good when he's up there that high. It's plain and simple. But Boki is in jail now, I think, because Boki was going on and on and on. Peter, what do you think about the game, bro? We beat Tottenham. I think it was a statement win, to say the least, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was class. I thought they were relentless, and I was a bit surprised, to be honest, how good it was, given the fact that he had made quite a few changes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think under Eddie Howe, there's been so many times at St James's where we've had that relentlessness, and that team spirit as well, where we just suffocate the opposition, and it's not to be taken for granted, really. So I think it was brilliant, and I thought it was class to see was it Bruno's reaction to that, when the referee stopped the ball. And Bruno was like one of us. He was just like beaming, smile on his face, clapping the referee, saying like, good job. So just little things like that made the night as well. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it was a great night. Nothing to be negative about. But Wynn came in as a bedwetter for the match reaction, and he wanted to argue for no reason. He said that Barnes was useless. He said that there's many things really. Yesterday, and I just didn't get it. There was nothing to whinge about, and you supposed to be the happy club in chief, and you came on here and started bedwetting. I don't understand that whatsoever.
I didn't start bedwetting.
Well, you did, because you were talking about, first of all, that's why Irish put you in jail, and he put Boki in jail as well, because you guys were going at it for no reason. But let's get into the confidential of Craig Cope. There's a lot of things in there that we need to talk about.
We're in there saying we've got our centre backs, Tim and Peter Ferdinand.
There you go. We got the it could be the Cahill brothers, or the Neville brothers. They're defenders, two defenders there. So there you go. What many? The Toure brothers. Ooh, that's proper family. That.
Yes, Alton's going back a bit.
Yeah. Who? Oh no. Which ones? I remember the one that played for Newcastle. The other one played for Wolves, I think.
Hibbets.
Wolves. Yeah, the Hibbets. Yeah, back in the day, back in Wynn's. In Wynn's era.
You've got the Greenhouse, of course, from Newcastle.
What was that?
The Murphys from Newcastle as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, the Murphys, the winger. Well, is he the other one a winger too?
I think he is.
I think
he is. Maybe a forward. More striker.
Yeah. Interesting.
We allegedly signed the wrong one.
Yeah.
Not now.
Well, I don't know about that now.
No.
I don't know about that now. Murphinho. So the Newcastle Confidential, ladies and gents. No, first of all, let me ask this important question. What's the weather in Newcastle right now? It is 9:38 at night. Come on, man. What's the weather?
Pretty bad.
It's raining. Shocking. I just said it's shocking.
Yeah, but shocking could be anything, man. What is it? Is it raining?
It's about 9 degrees and it's raining.
If people are driving, listening to us, they want to know what the weather is.
9 degrees.
Well, if they're driving, they'll know what the weather is, wouldn't they?
I was waiting on you. I was waiting for that brain to kick on, man. Well, what about James Cuff? What's the weather in London? People in London, what's the weather? I'm assuming it's about the same, isn't it? You guys got a little tiny.
No.
You guys are the size of New Jersey, man.
It'll be a little bit warmer in London because it's inland.
Yeah. But anyway,
the south is. It's amazing what a difference those 12 degrees make.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Palomine moved from Ponteland to Pickering in North Yorkshire, and it was 60 miles south as the crow flies. And he said the difference over the whole year, he was a farmer, over the whole year, the difference that those 60 miles made in the climate was unbelievable.
Anyway,
which is strange when you think about it.
Peter, you're over there in Middlesbrough, aren't you?
Not now. I travel there for like during the daytime.
What about over there, man? I know they have a river, right? Is that what they have a river?
The river.
Is that right? So what about the weather over there? Has it changed much to Newcastle or to Sunderland, for example? It's the same the same BS.
It's still the northeast coast.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying, like for example, when we were talking about stadium change, we'll talk about stadium here in a minute, I think. You guys were like, it's too far. So I'm assuming because it's too far that
50 miles.
Is that what you were talking about? Too far? 50 miles. Oh my God, man. You guys are not good, man.
We are knackered.
Come on, man. I thought it was 2 hours away, man.
We definitely don't want to be
Come
moved
on.
to Teesside, I'll say that.
Hey, they got a nice stadium though. They got a nice little stadium though.
Riverside.
Riverside. That's awful.
They got a nice little stadium, man.
Okay.
It's alright.
Bugger to get to, because you've got to get the way and you've got to walk the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's always smoggy in Middlesbrough. says,
Well, it is. That's why they call them the
that's why they call it
Not
smoggies.
so much now, to be fair, because most of the ICI and everything, Monsanto is all Roman Haas. It's all closed down now.
Hey, I don't know about this game, Kansas. London weather is beautiful. I don't know about that. I've been in London. I've traveled in London at the airport. I had enough. I went back to Newcastle because I mean, just to get out the airport, you got to take a boat. You got to take another plane. You got to take 2 trains, a subway, take a taxi, get back on the boat, go to France, come back in a boat to London. I mean, you got all of those things to get to the next gate, to the next terminal. So I was knackered, to say the least. Let's get into the confidential, ladies and gentlemen, because people want to hear Newcastle news. The title of this is by Craig Hope, of course, in the Daily Mail. By the way, I remind you that the ticker that you see on your screen comes from Geordie Boot Boys, so shout out to them. Special thanks, and you can obviously visit geordieBootBoys.com, and they got good stuff, good articles. So those headlines are theirs, and to keep you updated on the latest trending stories of Newcastle United. So there you go. This is from the Daily Mail, though, and Craig Hope says that inside the crackdown on autograph hunters after near miss with Star's car. Latest on William Osula's future, Wissa update, return update, and why local hero went missing last week, and the inside track on Toon's Christmas TV picks, says this article. I don't know if we're going to get into all of that, really. We're going to talk about what's important. First, Osula. He's staying put for people that want to get him out of the club. Wynn was one of the people that was upset because he didn't leave, and we didn't take the 30 million. Be honest, you were. You said he was useless as well. I'm quoting you, man. I'm quoting you. You said at the time, and you gotta back it down. You gotta back it up, or are you gonna backtrack?
I would have taken the 30 million.
Okay, there you go. So, I was right.
Out of his skin.
So confidential.
Last season didn't look any good at all. It looked as though he was a headless chicken. Didn't have a clue. But Eddie's worked, he's sprinkled his magic dust on him, and all of a sudden we've got a footballer on our hands.
He could have just sprinkled magic on him when he got here, but I guess he just took his time. Boki, you want to say something?
Yeah, he could have just subbed him on a few times last season instead of bringing Wilson on.
When he did sub him on, he was useless.
Here we go. Yeah, there you go. So the Confidential understands that all of those inside St. James's Park recognize the striker's development and believe that even if a club returned with £30 million fee that was agreed with Frankfurt on deadline day this summer, there is no player on the market better at the same price and profile than Osula. So I guess the club would say no to £30 million. First of all, what do you think about that?
Well, I disagree with that, because what I would do is I would take that 30 million, add another 30 million to it, and buy a Samu or somebody like that.
No, because you need a backup.
Samu is because we've got Wissa coming back. So
but
would be the third.
You need a proper center forward backup, because I think you need to go and get Larson in the winter.
No chance.
He will be the backup. And then Voltemade and Wissa will play together. So go on, Peter. Go on, Peter.
Well, I mean, transfers are especially these days, it's like chess, isn't it? Moving chess pieces to try and, see who fits where in terms of outgoings and incomings. So I think I would only let him go if it was guaranteed that a target that the club had, could be secured, and it was a really good player to come in. But I wouldn't just look at the 30 million and think, oh yeah, let's sell because it's 30 million. I think the January transfer window is notorious for being difficult to get the players you want. So maybe I think reject it and see where we're at in the summer. And that is the time, I think, where it's easier to kind of trade and see what you can get for him then, if you still want to sell him. I mean, I think he's helped us this season. So I'd be reluctant to sell him.
That's true. Well, I mean, to be honest, Boki, go on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say we're in a miles better position now, though, with this transfer window coming up with that sort of decision. Because if we see a player who we want, we can go in and put a bid in, potentially buy them, and then look to sell Osula. We're not like we were in the summer where we were desperate to get strikers in. We've got options this January window.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah,
I guess clubs. Sorry, Chris. I was going to say that, Chris. I think clubs can be a bit more play hardball a bit more in January. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to lose players mid-season. I think it's a bit more difficult. But I take your point though. Like I think certainly they shouldn't be like panicking like they were, like you say, in the summer when they were kind of thinking, right, what should we do with Osula now? Because we've got Voltemade in, and it was a bit of a crazy situation.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, Osula has been carrying, I guess, an ankle issue. That means he cannot even practice his finishing in training, such as the pain. But he still comes on from time to time. The 22-year-old was hours away from joining Frankfurt on September 1st before the Bundesliga club attempted to downgrade the deal from a permanent transfer to a loan. PIF pulled the plug, believing it was no longer a benefit to Newcastle. A permanent deal with Aston Villa had also been agreed earlier in the day, only for UEFA spending rules to basically, not make it available, not make it happen. So that was probably a blessing in disguise, to be honest. But the thing is, it really was, though, because imagine if we had sold him and Wissa gets hurt, that means Voltemade would be the only striker available right now. Like, we would be in a bad shape. What's the matter with you, man? Why you leave? There's no private time in jail, man. You get to if you gotta go, you gotta go in front of everybody.
Hey, there's things you can do in jail that you're not allowed to do anywhere else now, man.
And like be careful, man.
For example, indoors.
I got your voice, man.
Are you going to play me voice, or have you got me voice?
The problem is we're in the same cell, and I can smell it.
So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Yeah, it would have been horrific had we sold what's his name, Osula, and then Wissa injured. It would be devastating, to be honest. We could still go and get a loan deal, though. We could do that, or a free agent. I mean, that does nothing stops us from that.
It would have to have been a free agent. You couldn't get a loan deal after the 1st of September.
So, but he remained on Tyneside, of course, and all of that. Let me see here. One supporter likened him to killing Mbappe on social media this week. I mean, he does have his little dribble on him. He did good against Fulham. I mean, that's what we got the goal, and we were able to win. He's got talent. There's no doubt about it. More now than ever, we can see that. So it does look like
he's had space, and again, as Eddie said in the presser, he's putting loads and loads and loads of work into his training. He's staying on after everybody else, and the coaches are working with him.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about training as well.
He's starting to take it on board.
Yeah. There you go. Warren super chatting here. Mexican fajitas for super warm my tortillas.
And Mexican tortillas.
Tortillas, man. Tortillas. Yes. Not tortillas. Tortillas.
Oh, make win a free agent. Thank you.
Free agent. There you go. We got a free. That's not Warren, man. That's Mercury Dime. I should put you back in jail just for that.
Sorry.
Put him back in jail, somebody, for disrespecting somebody's name like that, man. Put him back in jail. Did anybody notice? You go to? By the way, Peter, you said you. I mean, I knew you go to. You went to school in Middlesbrough, right? Or you on and off? Or is that? No. I thought that was in school. What were you doing in Middlesbrough then? You got a bunny lass over there, or something?
Why am I going there? You mean?
Yeah. What
these days? But I'd never been to Middlesbrough until a few years ago.
Yeah, but why were you going there if it's not
He was working there.
I'm studying.
you were studying? Well, that's what I said. You was okay. So you were studying, but you were going to school, right? Is that what that means?
Yeah, I've got back to school basically, but I never went there originally. I never.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so that's afterwards. But so now you're back in Ashington.
Well,
Washington, man.
I live back.
Washington, not Ashington. Yeah, Washington. That's right.
Yeah,
I got my places
Washington
mixed up.
originally.
So wait, let me ask you though, because I want to know, because his brother, people that don't know, people that are listening, his brother Tim is his twin brother. He was earlier on with us. So now Peter is coming. But are you and Tim in the same building? No, not right now. You got your.
I stay in Gateshead.
You're in Gateshead now.
Yeah, and then I commute to Middlesbrough a few days a week.
Nice.
But I do go back home quite often.
Yeah. But how far is Washington? How far is Washington from Newcastle? Like, it can't be that far.
Nah,
5 miles.
Yeah, it takes about 10 minutes in the car.
I heard that just somebody told me. Listen, I don't know. I'm just relaying the message.
Give Irish his money's worth. He's putting me back in jail because Mercury Times saying make him a free agent and Irish assassins. I don't think so.
Yeah. And we're gonna put you back in jail. And Wissa says Josh King, Jeremy Monk with the crack. Both got zipped. There you go. Whatever Warren's saying, we'll put you back in jail.
I mean, Josh King, I think would be superb signing.
No, but never mind that. I'm trying to figure out here what was I on about? Okay. Oh, actually, somebody told me from the secret. They told me that Washington folks are not Geordies. I mean, that's what I heard. I didn't know. No, somebody told me low key. Somebody said, "Listen, don't say nothing to the twins, but they're a little bit like Mackems." So I'm just
they're in Sunderland.
Well, you opened a can of worms here, Chris.
It's a Durham postcode, Washington, isn't it? Like where Bobby Robson was from, Peter.
No, Bobby Robson's from Durham, man.
No, that's a Durham,
right?
Rob, I'm saying the postcode area. I'm sure
it used to be.
It used to be. So now
trying to get you to get out.
I know. It's any. So it's an any postcode. It's not a.
So it's in northeast.
Postcode.
Yeah.
There you go. So why is it?
What happened is in the 70s there was an investment in Washington Newtown. They built up all the suburbs and the shopping centres and all that. And so in the 70s, they wanted people to go over there they had all these houses that they built. So families from both, because it's right in between Newcastle and Sunderland, slap bang in the middle, right? Lots of families from both Newcastle and Sunderland moved to Washington. So that's why it's mixed, and you get Geordies, you do get Mackems. But my mum and dad are from Walker in Newcastle. And they moved over there in was it in the 70s? I think it was.
Hey, listen, James Coftel, our 3 Geordies on the stream being lectured on what a Geordie is by the only American on the stream. Listen, it doesn't come from me. Listen, why would I know? I didn't know. Somebody told me just
what would I know? Naffle.
A little paper under the door say, "Listen, man, Washington. If you're from Washington, you're not Geordie. You're like a Mackem."
That's just saying, man. In Washington.
I'm just igniting the fire. I'm igniting the fire. But I do agree, though. I'm looking at the map here. Is dead in the middle between the two. So I mean, obviously, I'm just pulling your leg, man. I'm just pulling your leg. But it's a good play. But it's not that far though. Gateshead, I see you. Gateshead right there. So it's not the Angel of the North. We should have gone to that if I had a proper tour guide. I would have gone to it, but never mind that. Anyway, back to the article. Did you guys notice that the local hero wasn't played against Fulham?
I heard about that. I didn't notice. I didn't catch the beginning of the match.
Well, Win was sleep. So, Bogey, were you paying attention?
Well, no, I didn't realise, to be honest. I heard the story, but
did you hear local hero? I think you may be getting mixed up. Was it not last night? It wasn't played.
No, well, if it
But
was, then that's one more game.
Blading races was going on when they were doing the huddles.
No, actually, I do remember Local Hero being played last night. So, no, it's Fulham. It's Fulham, man. Stop playing. So, again, Local Hero was not played when the teams emerged from St. James's Park, the tunnel, last weekend, and it was because of a technical glitch. So calm down. The beloved song will continue to play, of course. But some folks on X are tired of it. They're like, you got to switch it up. You got to play Thunderstruck or some AC/DC. You got to play.
Pity for them.
Yeah.
So did you say that why it wasn't played, Chris?
It was a technical glitch according to Craig Hope. Confidential understands that the plan was to play the traditional walkout music ahead of the Fulham game, but it was noticeable by its absence to the frustration of the club's announcer. The Mark Knopfler Classic failed to start. It was, though, interesting to know that the noise of the crowd did not really act as an adequate replacement, despite calls from the moments before the game to be free of music. Exactly. See, it's not just social media fans when they're local fans who some just, don't want music. And then want the roar of the crowd to take over.
I'll tell you what was noticeable on Wednesday, that the plan, which I was very disappointed with, to tell you the truth, the plan was for when the serviceman played the last post, for there then to be 2 minutes silence. And what happened was, when he finished playing the last post, everybody just started cheering. And there wasn't a 2 minute silence, which I was very disappointed at.
Well, the William McFall wasn't. Nobody did anything for him. Tudor either.
Well, no. This was our remembrance match. So there should have been 2 minutes silence.
Yeah. Well, no, for the soldiers. Yeah, for the soldiers. Yeah. Which was a great thing. But I mean, did they do did you say they did moment of silence? I mean, everybody was quiet about it?
No. What happened was the armed forces came on, and one of them played the last post on the bugle. And prior to that happening, the announcer had said, the da-di-da, he's going to play the last post, after which there will be 2 minutes silence.
And there wasn't any of that.
But as soon as I don't think there was any.
Well, I mean,
it wasn't done with any malevolence or anything. It was just, I think people forgot. And it was just the moment the music stopped, that everybody then went, right, wait, come on, let's get into it.
To be fair, Win, I think if they want to do it like that, the announcer should have said straight after, okay, we're now going to pause for 2 minutes.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it was too late by then, because everybody was cheering. It was.
Well, I mean, to be honest,
even the players were kind of looking at one another, and they just said, "All right," and they just broke from around the circle and went and did their thing.
Yeah. Well, they probably assumed
it was unfortunate. There was no malevolence involved or anything. It was just the way.
But I mean, the song in itself was good, and the fact that Newcastle didn't pull away from doing that is much more important than anything else, to be honest. So I think they did a good job. But yeah, that was the situation with Local Hero not being there. Okay, so the main story of today was that fans and nobody really can go. You know how, remember when the Isak situation happened, everybody was out there in the gate, the players going in the training ground. Everybody was there, hunting for a picture and whatnot. We got to get
get him out of jail there. Warren's in.
Yeah, there you
get
go.
Andy out of Durham, deprived of prison slop.
There you go.
Prison slop out.
So you remember those fans that are always there like that? Well, it's always really like that. Fans, little kids, try to get a signature, trying to nick a signature from a player that stops there at the gate or whatever. Journalists do go there as well, though, by the way. But I guess some that don't have access, I mean, some do have to require access to get in. But I guess the ones that don't stay out, because I've seen big cameras out there and all that, which at this day and age, I think that I'm assuming if you got big cameras like that, you would have access if you're part of a big media company. But whatever. But it looks like a near miss involving a Newcastle player and a young fan this week had led to the club telling supporters to stop gathering near the training ground entrance. Confidential can reveal that a senior star was alarmed when he nearly hit an autograph hunter. It's kind of a BS way to put it, really. It's a fan, man. Autograph hunter. Come on. While driving his car. The scare was raised with staff, and the club have acted swiftly on this particular case. The narrow lane leading to Benton Base is used by Newcastle staff, players, pedestrians, and construction vehicles working on the training ground expansion. Those wanting selfies and shirts signed often jump into the road, causing players to stop. Fans have also started waiting at nearby traffic lights and approaching the driver's window while they're on red. Newcastle have been considering taking action for some time, but are also aware of the positive interactions that arise from fans, especially during school holidays, enjoying a brief moment with the players, etc. But the incident this week has sharpened focus, and a decision has been taken in the interest of safety. Players and coaches have now been instructed to not stop their cars upon entering or leaving the training ground, and fans have been asked to not gather around, congregate there. Basically, Newcastle actually put up a post as well on their social media platform telling fans to not do that. So what do you guys make on this particular case? I mean, it is a good safety thing, I guess you would say, but as far as the culture in itself, it's always about Newcastle and the fans, and it's a tight-knit family and all of that. Those sayings on automation, basically, that everybody says. Well, does this take a hit? What do you guys think about this whole situation?
Never going to stop it.
Who's gonna go back in jail? I didn't know.
I think that's me. It's Hells.
Yeah.
Saying my cell's filthy. Get back in and clean it up.
There you go. So yeah, what do you guys make of this story? I mean, it is gathering attention.
Well, I remember when they used to train at Chesterley Street, and that used to be really good for, to watch them or to wait photographs, because it was,
that wasn't the cause. That was actually you were actually on the pitch then.
Aye, like you weren't standing in the middle of the road to try and get a glimpse. So.
That's the thing. I mean, to me, that's down to parental control. Would you let your kid run into the middle of the road? Because some of them are going to do it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. From what I can gather,
I don't know how I don't know how they do it, because it's not their property. You're on a public highway. There's no legislation that I'm aware of that could prevent people standing around waiting.
Lads, did they not used to when it was like this, like holidays? I'm guessing this is more an issue during like school holidays and things.
Yeah.
What did they not used to do, like open training sessions at St James's Park and things like that?
The players used to come out.
Yeah,
players used to come out.
I remember that.
But I remember in Keegan days, it used to be you could actually go to the training ground and watch them train.
But that was at Chesterley Street.
Yeah, it was. Why don't they do something like that? Why don't they do something like that at St James's during the week, when it's the school holidays, and say, look, you can come in, you can sit around the pitch, and we'll do a training session in front of you.
Now you mentioned it, Bobby. They did do that.
They did, yeah. I'm sure they did. Yeah,
they did. A couple
from
of times.
The training ground.
What they did a training session at St James's Park? Open.
They did. I can't remember exactly when it was, but
I can't remember that.
It might have been part of the pre-season. It might have been part of one of the pre-seasons. It was a while ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but that's a decent shout.
I weren't saying that Ben would get a game. He knows what it is.
What do you mean, like, what are you talking about?
At Benwell.
Explain.
That was Benwell training ground, which was, they used to have a mile, well, more than a mile run from St James's, because they didn't have cars. Most of the players then didn't have cars. They used to actually run.
To the
Part of the
ground.
training was the run from St James's Park to Benwell. and it was just like an open field with a couple of buildings or shacks, really.
Yeah.
So you're going back to Joe Harvey days there.
So, for example, here, this is when the famous Isaac saga, when people. So this is Newcastle's property, yeah, right?
No.
So this right here is not Newcastle's property.
You see the gates in the background.
That's Newcastle's property.
That's Newcastle's property. That's a public highway that goes down to the gates.
No, but where the car is, man.
Where the car is
that's the car coming onto the main road.
Well, look, the car is coming into the gate right here. The coming is not walking. It's driving into St. James's Park. So this right here, this whole thing, this is clearly Newcastle United's property.
Once you go through the green fence in there, Chris, you're into the ground. But where you're driving down is a public road.
Right now, that's
but I mean, okay, the gate's right here. So a couple 10 feet where beyond this is where the car is at. It's literally 10 feet from the gate. Is that public property? And it's not that private property.
No.
But the road's actually, that's a bit deceiving because.
But for to get that far, for to get that 40 feet, 50 feet to there, they've got to come in off the main road.
Yeah, well, this is the main road over here.
There are all people there waiting behind the barriers there.
No, they're not, man. They're flowers, man. Fucking hell. Oh my God, this dude. This
looks like Benton Road to me.
Well, it probably is, but I'm saying these are not people; they're flowers.
No, but do you see the road signs there, Chris?
Yeah,
like in the background, like where you're hovering now.
Yeah, right there.
You've got a blue and a red one.
Oh, okay, over here.
Yep, they're road signs. That's the turning in. So that
so this road goes over here like that, right? Yeah. It goes over there. Yeah, that's got to be public road. But this here where the car is at can't be public, is it?
Yeah,
that's
it is
public where it is at the minute. Yeah,
public highway.
Well, if it is public, Newcastle can have a say. They have a say on what goes on in this public road.
Okay, so let's assume in that case that you move the gates 50 yards back so that the gates are actually on the main highway.
This is basically you telling me that my driveway, my house, I don't own. You know, that I can't tell nobody. Anybody can just park in my driveway, and do whatever. No,
what I'm telling you is your driveway does not start until you reach those gates that he's heading for now.
Yeah, you got to think of that as a street. Really,
fair enough. But I'm trying to say is that Newcastle. Now I want you three to go and gather over there and see what they say because they're going to.
So now, what we're saying is all you're doing is moving any problem that there is. All you'd be doing is moving it 50 yards further back.
No, but listen,
then you would have squads of kids on the main highway.
Right. I've seen it many times on these, especially on the Isak situation, because nobody else cared about any of this in regular times. Other the kids and everybody else trying to get an autograph now. They would jump in the middle of this car right here, trying to get him to stop. Sometimes the player would stop already because they know what's coming. So it's kind of already what's happening, and they would do the favor of stopping it, and then they would keep going. But now Newcastle's saying you can't do that. The players can't stop. Nobody can stop. Well, trust me, if a human being that gets in front of my car, I'm stopping. And no matter what the club says to not stop or whatever. So it's about the human beings, the kids, the adults trying to get a signature. They're the ones that have to be educated and told what not to do. But if you're saying this is public, then you can't tell them not to walk there.
Yeah, you can ask that they don't, but you can't force it on.
The other problem as well, Chris, is that you've got the kids go during the holidays, but then you've got certain other people that go up with the little chairs and sit outside and just wait for certain things, even like when it's a quieter time. So you've got some of the YouTubers and things that'll actually go up and just sit outside the ground and try to get things signed or try to get, like a little interview with a player. So it's a constant problem really for the club.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna get.
just trying to get you the.
No, I'm gonna get the Google map here because that's interesting. It's a really good,
that's what I'm doing.
very good way to do this. So right here, this is the training, a Newcastle United training ground. Where are we talking about? This is the. I'm trying to look here. Where I'm lost.
I assume is it that road to the right?
So this is Whitley Road. So I guess it would be this one, right? No, well, yeah,
No.
right.
No,
Is it not the other one to the right?
What you're doing there, you're on Redwood.
See
There's
that-
you see where it says Whitley Road at the top.
Yeah, Whitley, right there.
Zoom in on that.
Well, I mean, which one though? There's
Just
multiple
zoom in
entrances.
exactly where you are.
It's got to be
Drag it
this
down
one.
a bit. Keep zooming in. Keep zoom.
We already
No.
far away in, man. We don't need to.
Right there. No, that junction there.
This
that
here,
you can see at the top of the screen.
right there. That's the
Right
A1
there. That's where they pull in.
right here. Well, that's what I'm saying, man. So they pull in here. This is obviously a very busy.
Everything down there that's all public highway. All the way.
Hold on. Hold on. Relax. Whitley Road is clearly a busy public road. There's those. I mean, this.
Yes.
But some are saying that folks are. I guess there's got to be a stop sign somewhere around here, or a traffic light, because folks are even. Some say. Well, they're saying right here in the article that folks are stopping.
The traffic lights that they're referring to are to the left of that junction as we'll look at it.
Yeah. Well,
And
there
what's
are traffic
happening is
lights somewhere in this.
the players are driving out of that road to that junction, turning left, but then about 400 or 500 yards down that road, there's sets of traffic lights, and that's where the kids are waiting.
No, but this article is also saying that there are people in this road here, in this main busy road, that people are trying to fish and hunt for a signature right here at a traffic light. That's what it's also saying.
No, there's no traffic lights there.
Well, I guess somewhere around here, there's got to be traffic lights somewhere, right?
Keep going to the.
Well, Boki said there is, so I mean, he must know.
They are a little bit further along, Chris.
Left.
Right. Hold on. It doesn't take hard to find out what a player drives, by the way.
I think the main issue they've got is, Chris, this road that you've got the arrow on now.
So when they come down here,
if you keep going down, keep going down where you've got that little bit there. This is where the sort of the gate is. So the gate.
Where's the gate?
No. The gate's further back.
Yeah,
right here.
The car park.
The gate's there.
About there.
Right here. This is the gate where we're talking about. There it is, right there. So this is the gate where the Isa car was right there, literally, right? So this is the gate. So you're saying that this whole thing here, this whole thing where the mouse is public
highway
until the gate, until the highway.
And there's no traffic lights at the top.
You call this a highway in America, you go to prison for that, man. But anyway, this is just a lane to get in the damn gate.
It's public right away.
But that's
so this is public. However, you're right. It must be public. It probably is public. If you call that highway one more time, we're gonna have to talk about the consequences.
That's a legal expression over here.
Yeah, a highway. I mean, come on. But I get it. It's public. However, I guarantee you, Newcastle United can tell whoever is on here to kick rocks, man. Although they don't own it, but they're probably going to have some folks get kicked out of the area. If they don't listen, of course. I mean, because I would assume some folks are going to listen and not gather anymore. Or do you think that, because you said earlier that there's no stopping it?
But Chris, this is a public road. We'll not say highway, we'll say a road.
Yeah, a road.
With that, we pay road tax to use that. So anybody who drives a car.
But what is the purpose, Boki, of you being there, man? What is the purpose of you?
Relevant. What the purpose is.
Oh, but come on, man.
What the club could quite easily do is just pay, as Wynne said, is pay the council and move the gate to the very top of that road.
That's so just all you're doing there is moving the
highways agency, but then you're just moving the problem.
Well, this is the message right here from Newcastle United. So we're not being around the bush. A safety notice for Newcastle United's training center to ensure the safety of supporters, players, staff, and members of the public. We're asking people to avoid gathering at our training center entrance and surrounding roadways. We value the incredibly strong connection that exists between supporters and our players and coaches, but safety must come first. We trust our fans. We'll support the club, players, and staff with this request. We'll continue to organize opportunities for supporters to meet players through the season. Communicated through this was communicated through official channel. So this is basically asking folks not to do it, but so it's not a demand. It's not a command to not do it, because clearly it's a public road, so you can't legally make them not do it. However, what happens if they continue? Because you said, Wayne, that there's no stopping this. You said that.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
So what are you trying to say? That Newcastle all of a sudden is going to have to pay more or less to buy this whole public road, and
But even buying the public road won't solve the problem, is what I'm saying, because it'll just move. It'll move to where. Yeah, you can move the gate up, which stops the kids congregating on that road, which is where they congregate, right? But then they'll just congregate on the main highway. At the gate at the top, where the T junction is at the top there, that's where they'll congregate then.
Well, but in that case, I mean, what are we doing here? In that case, then just, so is that what you're saying? There's no stopping it. Like, people will just gather up here.
Yeah, exactly.
So people are just daft, man.
The cars have still got to go through there.
Yeah, but I know that. But the point is, Newcastle's point is, stop being daft. Stop gathering around, man. You're going to get somebody killed. You know what I mean?
You ain't going to stop kids doing that.
Nah, man. But yeah, Warren says
that's it. That
purpose is dolphin flip.
There's only parents can. But in summer holiday, in school holidays, when you've got 12, 13, 14 year olds who all live within a couple of miles of there, they're just going to go.
And by the way, I want to know how much the city council would have to be involved in giving this to Newcastle. Is that right? Is that right? Is that how y'all work over there, city council?
Be the highway agents that you didn't want to hear.
The highway, whoever. How much is this piece going to cost? Come on, man. If you talk about connection with the club, you think they're going to do them a favor and say, you know what, give me just $30K for this piece of road? No, they're going to charge them $2-3 million for that 10 feet of road. Come on, man.
10 feet highway.
Highway, yeah, exactly. Call it the right thing. Call it right. A highway, a motorway. My goodness. Oh my God, man! But listen, this might be. I thought it was going to be an easy conversation, but this might be a bigger issue than we thought. So I guess there's no solution.
Massive issue.
Listen, man. Somebody gets killed, that's going to turn into a bad day at the office.
But as I say, the club can flip this quite easily by, as I say, just having an open training session once every school holidays, letting the kids go in and watch the players. Eddie wouldn't like it, I don't think, particularly, but I think it's the easiest thing for PR and everything for the club. It's probably a brilliant.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes going out the days, but sometimes they used to be able to do like open practices.
Yeah.
You know, open practice. Sometimes, not all the time, but open practices where folks, and you can charge £5 at the entrance, I guess.
I think the new director of football needs to rip up his list of priorities now and stick the highway gate.
Oh man, I'm telling you, man, this is criminal, man. I thought it was going to be a simple solution, but Wynn made it into a whole different. You know, come on, man. I
didn't make it into anything. It is what it is.
How about we just tell parents, look, take care of your kids, man. And by the way, we're talking about kids. There's grown men doing this, by the way. YouTubers, as Boki was saying, they're all trying to get the snippet. They're all trying to get the interview, which, by the way, I've never heard of. The players don't stop in the middle of the road to give interviews, so you might as well give up on it. But they do got this odd signature here and there, and but it's a major star almost hit somebody, and they were very concerned. Who could it be? You know, I mean, it could turn bad, ladies and gents. So you know, this is a major problem, man. Major problem, and they got cool houses, by the way, in that area. They got some nice houses there, man.
There's
right next to
houses there.
Some proper lots there, man. We need to put a swimming pool though. None of them have swimming pools.
Nobody used to live there here in Grange.
But we need to put a swimming pool, man. None of the houses have swimming pools. What's wrong with that? Come on, man. This is some. But what about? I thought Geordies never wore jackets and any of that crap. You put a swimming pool there. On
on Friday
Icy and jump in there,
nights,
man.
it's not worth the cost, Chris, for 30
with-
days, 60 days.
Look at Warren. It's
What's
the easiest and safest move to Washington. Easy.
Well, there you go. Exactly.
There you go. There you go. Well, I mean, Aaron Keith had a great point because he said, "What's the point of even buying anything? Because we're going to move anyway." So
true as well, of course.
yeah, that's not going to happen. By the way, Graham Jones was rumored to go somewhere for the he was rumored to go to Sweden, but he certainly won't be rescuing Isak's form, according to this article. He said that he's a Geordie. I didn't know he was a Geordie, Graham Jones. I know he took over for a year, I think, didn't he? Was he not interim? Not a year, but he was interim.
He was interim
between Bruce and Howe.
Yeah.
The Geordie has worked closely with Osula over the last 15 months and is credited with a huge hand in his development. The pair were locked in conversation in empty St. James's long after the crowds had cleared following Wednesday's Carabao Cup win over Tottenham. Jones was approached by his friend Graham Potter recently and asked about working as his number 2 with Sweden on a part-time basis. Potter was appointed earlier this month by the nation where he spent 7 years as Östersunds. What the heck? Well, anyway, he was over there in Sweden, and they appointed him the national. What the heck, man? While there was no formal approach to Newcastle, the Confidential understands that the club want Jones to maintain his focus on the club matters and to continue his brilliant work with the likes of Osula and Nick Voltemade. To that end, the possibility of Jones linking up once again with Isak will not be happening. So, what do you guys make of that? I mean, that's. Certainly Newcastle has to say so on that, man. You can't have your mind in two things, you know. I mean, it's pretty.
That's what I said. I said you can't, but apparently you can.
I remember when Bobby Robson in 2000, I think it was 2001 season, England wanted Robson back, and Robson wanted to do it like sort of part-time, if you like. He wanted to do it in between the Newcastle job, and Freddie Shepherd put his foot down and said, no, like, you need to be fully focused on Newcastle. And I think Bobby said, okay, I respect that. If that's your answer, if you don't want me to do it, then I won't. But I think he wanted to kind of juggle the two. I mean, that's full-time manager. I mean, that's, I guess, different really with Graham Jones. He was going to be assistant. Is that right?
But yeah, he was number two. By the way, talking about Bobby Robson, when I did an interview with Warren Barton a while back, and he told me about Bobby Robson demanding more or less players to give time to the fans and sign shirts, and you always tell him, basically
Keegan was the same.
A person wants your signature and goes miles and spends hard work and money for your signature for a piece of paper. So the least you can do is just give it to him. So Bobby Robson did that. And, so what do you do? I mean, what do you do with the players that do want to maybe be kind to the fans and kind of give and just help take a picture or whatever it may be. But now they're knackered. They can't do that by orders of the club, I guess. So, but most importantly, though, somebody gets killed, it's going to be a really horrible.
Safety is always paramount, obviously. But I don't necessarily think that just making edicts is going to change the safety, because somebody will always want to push the boundary and break the rules. And
just on the only other option would be during the summer holidays, get the players to park at a private location, so somewhere where people can't get into, and get a bus into the training ground.
Right. Just on Graham Jones, Chris.
He
was actually part of the England setup as well, wasn't he? A little while ago, I think a couple of years ago, and I think Southgate had him there.
Yeah,
so he's obviously got something about him. I think he's highly rated. I think even when he came to Newcastle,
Yeah.
he came with a good reputation, and you could clearly see that. I think under Bruce, coincidentally, the performance has improved
Without a doubt.
for that initial first few weeks when Graham Jones was brought in.
I
So
think it helped that Graham Jones made them train, didn't he? So
it does help. It does help. To be fair, exactly.
Warren asking, is Osula getting groomed? Sounds like it. Well, I mean, to be a better player for certain. To be a better player. Injury updates on this confidential. Good news and bad news, according to Craig Hope. On the fitness front, he's told that Lewis Hall has a 50-50 chance of making the bench at West Ham on Sunday after a quick recovery from a hamstring injury, but it will come too soon for Wissa. When Eddie Howe spoke of Wissa needing another 2 weeks in his recovery from a knee injury earlier this month.
Yeah, Brentford is when Wissa's penciled in.
Oh! He spoke earlier this month. I was thinking the injury happened earlier this month. I was going to go nuts. I know. Anyway, West Ham was reported as the comeback date. However, Confidential later revealed that Brentford on November 9th was more of a realistic target. It remains to be seen if the swelling around the striker's knee has subsided sufficiently to make that possible, or if his return will be delayed until after the international break. So there you go. That's the injury update from Craig Hope, ladies and gents.
That's more or less what Eddie said in his pre-match interview, isn't it?
Yeah. Lewis Hall, though, the thing, if he's ready to come back for West Ham, I doubt he'll even be. I think
he'll be on the bench at most,
if that. To be honest, I think he'll just come back the following week, which is Athletic Bilbao.
Oh, it's a big game to come back in that.
Man, come on, man. What are you talking about, man? This guy's played many games already, man. He got an injury. He come back and play. He's not going to start, obviously.
He got a bad injury, though.
Oh, well.
I wouldn't be bringing him back in to start a Champions League game. That's
I said you're not going to start him. Yeah,
on the
get
bench.
Minutes. Get minutes.
Get him on the bench on Saturday, and we're 3 or 4-0 up. Bring him on.
Yeah, that's what you say. We'll see what's going to happen against West Ham. Although they're a weaker team, I do agree. So I mean, at the end of the day, I would. If I was listening to you guys, would you rotate against West Ham? Would Eddie rotate? I mean, it's. I probably would.
Rotating is actually rotating back to the best 11.
No. I mean, I would probably start Ramsey again. I'll put Bruno back in and give Joe Linton another half and half, type of deal. I would listen. He's never going to do this, but I would definitely take a look at Ramsdale. But he's never going to do this, so it's just talking in the air.
Well, we discussed all of that one. We're doing.
Well, I know, but I'm here now, so I wanted to. Is that okay if I have a say, man? Is that okay? Is there freedom of speech here still, or am I bothering?
Yeah, well, you're asking the question that we've already answered.
Yeah, but Peter hasn't had to say, so.
Well, Peter hasn't. That's true.
Yeah. No, I think I would put in Bruno. I'll put Bruno back in, and I would keep Ramsey.
Yeah.
And I'll Bruno, Tonali, and Ramsey in the middle. I wouldn't put J7 back in. I think he probably.
There you go.
We'll see. I mean, I've got a feeling he might, but I thought Ramsey looked good, and sometimes J7. I love him. Don't get us wrong. I mean, he's still got a big part to play, but you seen when he came on. Sometimes that aggression that he's got, especially away from home, he can be a bit reckless, and that can get the home crowd up for it if you're kind of getting involved in unnecessary sort of tangles. He's a bit reckless, so that can go against him sometimes.
That's it. I think on Sunday, of course.
Say again.
The boycott. You still get the fans wound up.
Yeah, true, but yeah, I think if you give them some hope, the fans who are in the stadium, they'll latch onto that. So, yeah, Ramsey looked good. Keep him in. Bruno and Tonali in the middle with Ramsey, I think is pretty formidable. But like what I would like to see in terms of like the performance is obviously we've talked about how good we've been at home, especially like obviously last night. I'm just thinking about that Brighton match a few weeks ago, and I want to, even though West Ham they're there for the taking. Don't get us wrong, we need to go there and attack. But I don't want us to be open. You see, I think we need away from home. We need to start being a bit more. Maybe nasty is the wrong word, but do you know what I mean? A bit more kind of.
Well, surely, if that's what you're saying, that's where you would want J7 in.
No, but he can go. I think he can. He doesn't use his head. Do you know what I mean? You need to be more measured. Like
Yeah, no, that
do you know what I
tackle
mean?
against what's his name? That
Yeah,
tackle against
Kudus.
Kudus
yeah.
was a bit weird, but you know the after Kudus was trying to play big boy as well, you know, so that's what made Joe Linton mad.
Yeah.
Pushed him and all that, you know. But he, you know, it's just all the condiments for a fight. But yeah, I mean that late tackle,
when I rewatched the match, that incident certainly wasn't what I thought I'd seen on the pitch, where I thought Kudus had instigated it all kind of thing. But definitely, when I've seen it since I've seen the replay, J7 was the first to raise his hands, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't an instigation. I mean, he certainly it was an instigation by Joe Linton. Well, the foul, it's a hard foul, no doubt about it. I don't know.
If there'd been VAR last night, which there's not for the Carabao at this stage, I think he could have been in a bit of trouble.
No way, man. We think it was a red?
I think it could have been construed as a red. We've seen people get sent off for less.
I think it was one of them ones. If the ref had given it as a red, then VAR wouldn't have overturned it. If he wasn't given as a red, then they wouldn't have given it as a red. So
yeah. I don't think it was a red card, but that's the thing these days. Referees, you give them an inch. Do you know what I mean? Some of them anyway. Like the
give them an option and they'll take it.
Do you think as well, with not having VAR last night, the refereeing was a bit better in that he actually made the decisions himself, and you didn't you weren't sort of waiting for anything else to happen as a fan, but he also sort of let things go a little bit more and then did pull things up as well. I think the referee last night was actually quite good.
I totally agree with what you're saying about VAR. You know, when it's not there, it's up to the ref to ref the game and have that sort of confidence in their own refereeing and not kind of having the easy option of just falling back all the time on VAR, which you see all the time in the Premier League. So, yeah, I think it's refreshing. It's always refreshing when you get to see a game these days without VAR.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is 10:33 at night in the UK, ladies and gents. Don't forget to smash the like button. You got 30 minutes left for a good night discussion here on NUFC Talk. And we got more news here, though, from this confidential thing. We got a lot of news, really. A lot of stuff to talk about, man. But we only got 30 minutes, so we gotta get moving. Hard yards under the light, the subtitle here, because Newcastle continue to make the most of their light at St. James's Park to put their players through late-night training drills, given the hectic schedule that the reduced opportunity to train at Benton. Post-match windows are now seen as crucial by Eddie Howe and performance director James Bunce. It was not until an hour after full-time following Wednesday's win over Spurs that wingers Anthony Gordon and Jacob Murphy eventually returned to the changing rooms. So late did the extra session finish. Some players who had started the game were already leaving the stadium. What do you guys make of that, man? I think this is just knackering the players, man.
No, well, it was.
I mean, the players like Gordon that didn't play, but Gordon. Well, he did play a little bit, but Gordon and Murphy. But staying after, I mean, trust me, man. Can we not do this in the morning? I mean, why we got it late at night, man? I don't know about this,
It
man.
does
I don't
sound
know.
it sounds odd, but at the
Like,
end of
for
the day, though,
example,
they've got all of the way I look at it is the staff and the coaching setup. They've got all the stats. They've got all of the kind of
the metrics.
information, in terms of where they are at physically. And,
Heart rate and all the these things that they wear on their body now.
yeah,
With
monitors,
GPS,
and
GPS.
sweat and everything. Tell
Yeah.
them everything they need to know.
yeah.
Well,
I
it's
would
the
trust that
GPS.
they know what they're doing. If they're going to have a session like that after
Exactly.
the game, it is a bit odd. Don't get us wrong. I'm looking at it as well, thinking like Jesus, like it maybe looks a bit extreme, but
Knackered, man.
yeah, yeah.
I think what we need to remember as well, these are professional footballers. And with that, maybe what they need is if they're only coming on for, say, 25, 30 minutes, do they need the bodies to be put through that so that it can then go into a relaxing stage? So that if they're only playing like a short amount of time, are their bodies so pumped up that it can cause them sort of muscle issues and things like that?
Thank you, Warren,
That's
but we're
all.
not reading that one out.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you very much for the for the super chat there. You must be a weatherman as well. But anyway, well, yeah, I mean, it is odd though. But I mean, they mentioned Jacob Murphy and Anthony Gordon, but I'm assuming there's more players that do this. I'll tell you, if I play, if I'm Joe Linton, I'm not running, man. I'm going to get in my car and go. I gotta go home, man. Gotta get that kip.
Yeah, but again, they've still got the vest on so they can see what effort you're putting in.
By the way, some old school players will grab that vest, get another one, and throw them both in the trash. Because some old school players are going like, I'm not wearing this crap. Go on, mate.
You're gonna get transfer listed, then, aren't you, Chris?
Exactly.
Well, listen, man. I've heard of major big time players that said, I'm not wearing that crap. Now you're not gonna sell those type players.
Would you do that
I don't know
if
if
you get 80 grand a week, Chris?
For example, well, I mean, you would. What I'm saying is that philosophy. Some players don't like what. Like for example, I don't know if you know this guy, but Juan Roman Riquelme. He was a really good player. He played for Barcelona, and then went on to Villarreal and became a really an idol there at Villarreal. He is of the mindset that you give me the ball and I'll make it happen. I don't need none of this crap attached to me wearing a bra, playing, more or less. You get it's old school and dinosaur type way, but the player puts it on the under his foot and he gets the game sorted. So would you if your best player, if Tonali for example says, man, I'm not wearing that crap, are you gonna say, Tonali, you're off on the transfer list?
Well,
let's be real. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Right.
I actually agree. I think there is something to that where we're all individuals, players. I think it's gotten that way where they're just all being kind of like
we're getting straight, are we not, into the Joe Harvey handling of the Terry Hibbert McDonald situation at Newcastle when Birkinshaw wanted to ban smoking in the dressing room. And there was a sign went up on the dressing room saying no smoking in the dressing room.
It's the same story, really.
So Hibbert and McDonald came in and sparked up straight away, and he says, "Whoa, no smoking!" And they said, "Right, if we're not smoking, we're going." So Joe Harvey came back and he said, "No, we should change the sign: no smoking in the dressing room, except for Malcolm McDonald and Terry Hibbert."
I have a funny story about this, by the way, but it relates to the best players always get their way, because this is basketball, right? I don't want to bore you guys to death, but the story is very relevant because Larry Bird was one of the greatest basketballers in the history of basketball. But it was the last play to win the game. And I just want you to kind of transfer it to football, but he's the best player. And of course, the manager will draw the play. This is what we're going to do here and there. He basically says, Larry Bird, the best player, says, screw all that. Give me the ball, and then, I'll figure it out and win the game. But the manager, old school, he knew that Bird was going to win the game. However, he can't look like a in front of the other players. So he says, no. He says, no. Never mind all that. I'm the manager here. I know what we need to do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna give the ball to Larry Bird on the corner, and sure enough, it happens. Larry Bird swish and wins the game. Proper managers know you got to keep your best player happy. I have another story, football related actually. Maradona in the 80s. In 82, I think he was supposed to go in the World Cup with Menotti, who passed away as well, all-time manager. And they asked him, that little player, how do you train him? What does he do? What do you tell him to do and all that to play so good? He's like, he's the best player on the pitch. The best player on the pitch, you just give him the ball and he figures it out. You don't need to tell him anything. So, but that's obviously back in 82, back when Mighty Win was in his peak. Now football has definitely changed. So I don't see like a Tonali saying, I'm not going to wear that crap. But, you probably won't get that much really nowadays because these players are used to already this type of new technology football type of thing. But the ones that are in a transition, I guess, maybe like a Trippier maybe could have an issue with that. But like Harry Kane, for example, what if Harry Kane tells you, when you're a Harry Kane worshiper, if Harry Kane tells you, I'm not wearing this crap, man, feed me the ball and I'll score.
Right, well, we'll not give you 500 grand a week, we'll give you 400 grand.
Yeah, get out of here, man. You're not going to do that, man. You talk big game, man, but you're not going to tell Harry Kane he's not getting paid. And he's putting them in the back of the net, man.
I wish I had that problem.
Loose laces cost points. Remember when players used to play loose laces, man? Maradona used to do that. Maradona used to be nuts, man.
But it didn't cost points, but it cost they got knocked out the cup with these loose laces.
Sorry, Chris, but netball, worst sport ever watched by me. Well, but the story is the same. The manager trying to be, Red Auerbach was his name. He tried to be tough. Now, I'm the manager here. We're going to do this. And then we're going to give Larry Bird the ball on the corner. All right, so just a little insight on late nights, Toon TV picks, according to this. Speaking of late nights, the Premier League are set to announce the next round of TV changes for December into early January. While yet to be communicated, the Daily Mail's confidential sources believe Newcastle's trip to Manchester United is in line to be brought forward from December 27th to an evening kickoff on Boxing Day, making it the only Premier League fixture on December 26th after Christmas. Also, keep an eye on the Magpies' trip to Burnley being pushed back from December 30th, possibly even onto New Year's Day. All still to be confirmed and subject to change, but that's the early word doing the rounds with my fixtures guys, says Craig Hope. So what do you guys make of that, man? The Toon playing after Christmas? Man, not good. Well, it's not a new thing, though, anyway, is it? I mean,
No, they are going to kind of strip it back where, it used to be that almost every team would play Boxing Day. That's
Boxing Day was
used to be, and now apparently this year, for the first time in ages, it's only going to be the one fixture.
Mm-hmm. Cheers, Warren. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah,
I remember Maradona being in.
What it means is Newcastle fans will have to get back from Manchester on Boxing Day evening when there's no public transport.
There isn't?
No.
Nah.
Why?
Be very little.
Well, it's Boxing Day. It's a bank holiday.
There'll be some, but it won't
be very
little. So are the I mean we do have rail transportation here, but not as you guys depend on it really. That's not public. There's got to be public, right? And you're telling me that they don't work.
No, the bank holidays
on Boxing Day, very, very curtailed service.
Come on, man.
It'll just be very irregular. Yeah.
Chris,
so that means
in the UK.
The best of times at 10.
Well, I'll be driving anyway.
Did he say what time the kickoff was going to be?
Well, it says something about
I thought he
evening
said
kickoff.
Well,
evening
that's
kickoff.
What I mean. Fucking you're knackered. We can't change
You got to drive us still, haven't you?
I mean, but hold on, man. Can we find a solution on this channel? We got 15 minutes left. What can Toon fans do, man? Give us a solution. When you've been travel your whole life,
There will be some trains running. I mean, surely it's just going to be like, obviously, like someone says there in the comments, Sunday service. It may well be something like that where it's going to be difficult still. It's going to be difficult to arrange. Don't get us wrong, but they're not completely shut down. I don't think.
No, that's true. That's true. 10:45 at night, ladies and gentlemen, in Newcastle. It is the late night show.
Set up for maximum confrontation.
There are no train services running on Boxing Day between Manchester and Newcastle.
Derek Demady and the rest of the panel, Monday through Thursday from 9:30 p.m. UK and UFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army.
So when you weren't bothered about the jingle playing, man, and just folks, taking a break, getting a little bit a drink. Peter getting a drink in, Boki, everybody taking a bit of a break. That doesn't bother you. That you just
Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and Boxing Day, there are no trains. None. You're out your mind, man.
Okay. We're going. Peter, go ahead, drink, man. We're gonna play the jingle again, man.
Set up for maximum confrontation and super opinionated debates. The NUFC Late Night Show with Chris the American Man, Derek Demady, Andrew Boki, and the rest of the panel. Monday through Thursday from 9:30 p.m. UK and UFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army.
We're trying to do our thing. We're trying to the voice of the Toon Army all day, every day. Live nonstop, and win just don't give it. Like right there, look, James Cuffs is. Was that part of the jingle or just Win rambling? Yeah, no, that was. Please say something else.
That was me giving you good folks information straight from train line.
No, listen. Let me ask you a question though. So, what is the percentage of, like in America, people drive? That's what they do. The vast majority of people drive. But I mean, if you live in New York, there's some people I've never seen a car before. So, but those exceptions. But most people drive. I would assume. I kind of think of Newcastle being more like kind of like us in the sense where I live, in the sense that you drive, you depend on driving. You're not waiting on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But you guys give me that. I see London being more of a like a New York, where people never drive and get on trains and all that. Am I wrong? Or I'm just having a conversation, man. So you guys don't drive. You got numpties. You don't know how to learn how to drive. Is that what?
No. We do drive, but we use public transport as well. And I would say on a match day, I'd probably say about 60% of travelling fans probably do drive, but at least 40% get trains.
We live in a Victorian era, says Kim Ken. But so that means we were knackered. I mean, we can't have that on evening Boxing Day, man. That's Manchester. I mean, that's Manchester though. How far from the Toon?
2 hours. 2.5. 2 and a bit hours.
In train as well.
Oh no, longer by train.
Oh man,
because you've got to change, haven't you? By train?
No, you don't. You can get Transpennine.
You can get Transpennine straight there.
Yeah, straight there.
I suppose the other option that you would have as fans is you could hire a private bus if there was enough of you got together.
Yeah. But again, you'd be through the nose because it's Boxing Day.
No, they're probably going to do that though. Like somebody, they do it in Newcastle. Remember, when you got your dodgy sources that travel. If they go to Marseille, they can go to Manchester, man.
Who are you talking about?
The dodgy person that takes you to all over the world. Remember, you got your Toon Travels. Toon Travel.
Toon Travel will not be doing anything. I mean, they used to do the buses for the supporters, and the supporters club will be running buses.
Cell inspection a bit dusty by your past. There you go. So I think
that last.
That means he's out. Thank you very much, Hells. Public transport in the U.S. is virtually non-existent, as Stephen Field. Well, I do agree. I mean, we kind of we're a capitalist world country here, man. We just when we need something, we just get it. You know what I mean? I'm not. You're never gonna catch me where I live, man. No public transportation. I mean, you gotta drive everywhere. I gotta go 15 minutes to the grocery store. I live in the country, man. Proper country. Which when I flew over Newcastle, I saw farmland. I saw some cows over there. So you can't tell me that it's all city, man. Come on.
It's tiny city, Newcastle.
No, I'm talking about there's people that live in rural areas. So what do? They got to drive.
Well, no, there's still a lot of bus services in the rural areas.
Yeah,
that ain't rural. If you need a bus, you're not rural, man. You're just a city boy, pretending to be.
I think what it is hard trying to think of America against the UK
because you're a city cowboy, man. That's
you've
what
got
you
to
are.
think we're so tiny that sort of you talk about our rural areas, but there'll still be buses go there because it's still.
That's crazy, man.
Texas has got farms the size of Northumberland, man.
You guys are city cowboys, man. Urban cowboys.
If you drive 15, 20 miles outside of Newcastle, you can get into a rural area.
My goodness.
That's from the city centre.
You just gotta get on that horse and ride it.
Yeah.
No, but look, I'm giving you an update, man, on the TV thing. But TV things might change. I was thinking of going in January, but if it changes like that, man, what are we going to do? I mean, but either way, though, I'm not. To be honest, I want to go to St. James's Park at least once this coming up year sometime. I'm not bothered to go to 2 games. I'm not. But if we keep going to Champions League, if we keep going in the cups, hey, I might get an opportunity. We'll have to find who wants to give up the ticket though for those important games. They'll just have to pay 300 quid.
Ask your bank manager, Chris.
Oh man, this guy, man.
You're right.
This is a scam, man. This guy, he's got to be on the. Well, you guys don't have FBI over there. I don't know what you got. FIB, probably. You're on the FIB most wanted because this dude, man, he's a scam artist. I tell you. But you knocking me with that win. I feel bad now for the fans, man. I feel bad, man. So now they ain't got no transportation. So you're saying that more than likely nobody's gonna go.
No. They'll find a way. It'll be sold out still.
Yeah. Old Trafford away.
Not fair on them. That's what I'm saying.
The only slightly good thing is if you do travel down and stay over, the hotels aren't going to be as expensive. There'll not be many people staying in hotels on Boxing Day.
But what about Burnley? Where's Burnley at in the UK?
Next door to Manchester. Part of Greater Manchester.
Oh, Burnley. Oh, so we're gonna go back over in that area then, possibly on New Year's Day. What about transportation then?
I'm just looking here. You see, the Man U.
Use a club button, man.
Who else are Man U? See, Man United there on the 3rd of January. They're playing Leeds, which is like half an hour up the road. So why can they not swap those fixtures around and play Leeds on Boxing Day night, who've got an hour's drive to get there, less than an hour's drive to get there, as opposed to making Newcastle fans travel 3 times the distance? Twice the distance anyway.
What about
twice the time? Because you've got the M6 between Manchester and Leeds. Combined, man. 20 minutes.
Hey, man, I'm trying to say something. What about New Year's Day? Is not going to be no transportation either when we go to Burnley.
No, definitely not.
So that's 2 games right there where we're not got. And you said Burnley's around Manchester?
And Burnley are playing Man United on the 7th of January.
It'll still be sold out.
It'll still be sold out, absolutely it will.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It just, the fans, they don't take the fans into consideration one little bit.
Well, because the fans,
a little bit of common sense. If you look at all of those fixtures when Newcastle go to Brighton on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, but when somebody's got a
little bit of common sense.
Somebody's going to have to suffer, man. Somebody always has to suffer.
But they don't always have to suffer. Because we could play Sunderland, for example, on a day.
But on Boxing Day, for example, there's always been games.
That used to be the absolute thing. We used to play Sunderland back to back, Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Well, it could be they could do derbies on that day, to be fair, but or on that.
And if it wasn't Christmas Day and Boxing Day, it was Good Friday and Easter Saturday.
We used to.
But what about?
Yeah.
I've always heard. I mean, obviously.
I never knew that.
I've always heard about Boxing Day, but I've never talked. Transportation means nothing to me, obviously. But now that I'm with you guys, I kind of get to hear these stories. But what about if you were to play against Middlesbrough in a derby on Boxing Day? But that's still.
I bet you okay.
But that's still 50 miles, no transportation. What you gonna do? You still 50 miles is 50 miles.
But you're talking 40 minutes.
Yeah, but how you gonna get 40 minutes walking turns it through 4 hours?
No, you obviously you've got to drive.
Yeah.
A 40-minute drive.
You wouldn't walk it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
What I'm trying to say is that if you can drive, you can go to Manchester as well. I mean, if you want to go back to the game.
And there's
if we're going on about transportation.
There's no chance the police would ever allow her to play Sunderland on Boxing Day up here.
Oh, we're going to be boxing.
I didn't know about that.
Could you imagine? There's very little public transport. There'll be police on holiday. It's obviously the Christmas period. There is no chance.
Boki's so rude. He has knitted his own cardigans. There you go. Hey, listen, we had a kind of show, man. We got to call it a day, but we got a lot of news that we didn't even get to. Can you believe that? A lot of stuff. But either way, we're gonna save it for another day if it's irrelevant. But don't forget that tomorrow we got the Eddie Howe presser for West Ham tomorrow at 9:10 a.m. in the UK, and of course we got the Friday Neat show at 8 p.m. UK, and that's gonna be a blast. And we're gonna go 2 hours. Don't worry, don't worry, man. Because last week people were having an issue. People were rioting. People were They wanted to walk from Middlesbrough to Newcastle to protest because we only went an hour. So we're gonna have a good time, pints, and good old country music.
Friday night and we're getting to the tunes.
It's Halloween as well.
Smooth radio.
Even all the Sunderland fans in Washington were upset.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. That's right.
Ooh, you're on thin ice there, Bookie, with your Sunderland fans.
They're Geordies, man. But I also heard that Ashington are Geordies, but some complains because they're too far. They're farther than Washington, I heard. But how are they Geordies?
I tell you what, right? In Washington,
You know what I mean?
you can still see in Washington, right? There's a nursery near. Excuse me, near from where I used to live back home, and it says Tyneside.
There you go.
It says Tyneside on one of the nurseries, just round the corner from where my home was.
There you go, baby. You got about hey, listen, man. All you got to say, Washington's closer than Ashington, and nobody calls Ashington. Well, whatever you would call them. What would if you were to debate Ashington? If you were to debate that they weren't Geordies? What would you call them? I mean,
it's still Tyneside, though, isn't it? Ashington,
Northumberland.
Is it?
No,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Thank you, Warren, again, taking care of business, man. All the super chats. Thank you very much, buddy. Mercury Diamond there as well. Irish Assassin in the building. I think Queen of Heart earlier on as well. Helzusar, always there to help support the channel. Ian McCubbin becoming a member earlier on as well. Thank you very much, all of you out there. I appreciate your support. Again, tomorrow, 9:10 UK presser. And then we got at 8 p.m. UK all the way until 10 p.m. the Friday Neat show with music. Good. I got good music. I got good picks now. You got to tune in because I got good proper picks.
We'll see about that.
Anyways, lad. But I mean, if we go back and I don't know. But actually, Peter, can I ask you your age? Because you look young though.
90s kid.
You're 90. I might have something for you. But we go back in the
80s. I was born in 86.
Oh yeah, well we definitely got some 80s and 70s, but I think I might have some 90s, early 90s. famous singer. And you must, if you don't know his name, then we can't have the show anymore. But anyways, we'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. But before that, the presser. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button. Thank you to the super chatters. We'll see you in the next one, folks. How are the lads?
Away.